Muslim route. I'm not even going to say that. But I'll leave the Jehovah's Witness and Mormons open for you guys also. I mean, there is no limitation to what you think God is, because
I
God
accept.
Hang on. So God is now whatever you define God to be, is what you're saying. It's up to everyone.
Even if you say a Christian God, you're still going to define it in your own way anyway. So just might as well start there.
Right, but that makes no sense.
To you, it doesn't.
But how can it be true then? You can't all be right.
No, it's an abstraction of your mind.
It's an abstraction. It's
an imagination.
Oh,
imaginary. Within your imagination, just like how you say infinity when you can't explain infinity, but you know what infinity is.
No, I don't know what it is. What are you talking about?
I don't know what it is either, but for some strange reason, it has a name and a definition.
I don't know. No, it has a usage, but the concept of infinity for me is I can't get my head around. I can write it down. I can't
get my head around it either, but the word is still used.
Right, but I can write it down in the formula and stuff, and I can understand it from that perspective. And
there's functionality, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but eternal. Like, is your God eternal?
Every God is eternal.
Okay, so if you have this God that's eternal, where did it come from? Isn't that like an infinite regression problem or something?
Where did it come from is a great question.
Yeah.
But how it is useful for me, how it has this sort of functionality, or should I say, utility. It has utility in life.
Oh, cool. So, what's your best example of the utility this God has in your life?
He's useful.
No, I want to know an example of the utility. Oh, he muted him. He's probably busy.
The utility that I have is it answers questions that I know that even if I was a famous scientist, I would not be able to answer.
Oh, so what's the biggest question this utilitarian God has given you?
It gives me purpose of life.
Really?
Yeah.
I have purpose, and I never asked a God for that. That makes no sense.
That's you. Maybe you don't need it.
Yeah.
But there's other people.
Why do you need it? Why do you need it?
I need it to give me purpose because it makes me feel good about the good things that I do.
You're just nothing.
So this, how did this God do this? It gave you purpose. Right? How did he like talk to you in your head?
It gave me faith. It gave me ethics. It gave me morality. It gives me hope.
Ethics and morality.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. How does your God do that?
Oh well, if you just look at the story of Jesus Christ, I mean that's ethics in and of itself.
It is.
I mean,
what about the Old Testament?
Turn the other cheek. Well, the Old Testament has a lot of stuff there too. A lot more bloodshed.
So slavery is. I'm going to go right to the root of it. So slavery is a good
Leviticus.
thing.
Yeah, we go to Leviticus 3.
So slavery is ethical.
I mean, you want to go to Leviticus? I could show you where it goes back to
I thought you were deistic.
No, I'm asking there, Bart. Slavery. Do you think slavery is moral or ethical?
Yeah, in certain cases it is.
It is? Certain cases? What case?
Cases where people rather have a glimmer of hope and being taken as a prisoner or as a slave instead of just being slaughtered like cattle. So yeah,
because you're a slave.
I see. So be my slave or I'll kill you.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, that's so it's moral to threaten to kill someone unless you be my slave.
Well, we don't live in times like that anymore. We live in times of videotapes and DNA, so we don't have to experience it.
So hang on. Back then, it was moral. It was moral to threaten someone unless you be my slave. Back then, it was moral, and now it's not moral.
Back then, whenever it was, it is. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So why doesn't it say that in the Bible though? Why does Jesus not say, that slavery thing? We don't do that anymore. How come he doesn't say that?
It was compiled so long ago. How would I know?
Well, I thought this isn't this Bible thing some kind of a book of truth or something?
You keep on adding context to support your God.
No,
well, if it's a book of truth, why doesn't Jesus in there somewhere say, that the slavery thing's all different? The slavery, we don't do that anymore, right? Because it's different times. Why is that not in the Bible?
No idea. I guess that's what you have to get from
It's
it,
pretty
right?
shitty manual, I think. Right? It's not even in there. I'm an engineer, right? So
a lot of stuff in the Bible.
If
go to John 21:25. John 21:25.
What?
John 21.
What about it?
Line 25.
Just tell me what it is. I'm not going to look it up.
It says that if we wrote down everything that Jesus had said, there'd be more. There'd be no books to fill. There'd too many books to fill everything that he said. So there were many things that Jesus said that were never written down.
Well, that means
that's in John 21:25.
Well, why aren't important things written down and stuff that isn't important?
Well, maybe you should have that out with God. It's got nothing to do with me. Nor do I have to defend God. I don't have to defend God. You have a belief. You have to defend your belief, right? It says right there, First Peter. Well, hey, you know 1 Peter 3:15, do you? What's that one?
Oh, that's the one where if you're asked about your faith and the hope you have to be able to be ready to do that and explain it. I'm just paraphrasing.
Faith.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you something. How you come across, right? You have read 4 verses and you come here and preaching. That's sad. That's my opinion. Okay, you haven't got a fucking clue. No. I'm going straight to the fucking jugular. I think you haven't got a clue of what is written in the Bible.
More than 4 verses.
Okay, sorry, 5.
Oh, right? Okay. Yeah.
Right.
6 maybe.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I thought Bart say.
Do you understand it? You come in across an ignorant person from the Bible.
But the thing is, Bart's read more than 6 or whatever. But the thing is, he only reads the good ones and doesn't read the bad ones.
It's cherry picking. Oh, hold on.
No. Cherry picking. Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably not even. It's probably been taught, not even fucking read.
Yeah, someone else.
That's even worse.
Probably. Yeah.
Right?
You guys can talk to me about any Bible story in the Bible.
I'll give you one, Sunshine. Right?
Why are you going to the Bible? Don't you just believe in a God, not a theistic God?
I mean, there's horrible stories in the Bible. We can go over Judges 19. I mean, that was a horrible story of a concubine being chopped up and sent out to the 12 tribes of Israel. I mean, that was a horrible story. We can go over 2 Samuel chapter 13 when Tamar was raped by Odom. I mean, we can go by that also, and we could also go to Genesis. We can go to Genesis 38, where she had to pretend to be a prostitute to continue the line of Judah. I mean, we can go to many stories in the Bible.
So
we can also go to we can go to Second Kings.
We got what you're saying, Bart. So why should hang on, Bart.
I'm not listening.
We get your point. You don't have to go on and on. Why should we think your book is good when it has such bad stuff in it?
Because the good, you got to take the good with the bad. Just like your old man told you when you married your wife.
So I have a manual for a component I'm going to use in engineering, electronics engineering, and it's got bad stuff in it. So it has bad stuff in it and good stuff. Really?
Yeah, because the bad stuff makes it better.
Oh?
Because then you can fix it and you can upgrade it and you can know what's wrong with it.
Well, when it comes
to research and development.
Hang on. So what you're saying is when it comes to explaining the truth, you there's only one truth. But there's like almost infinite number of non-truths. So you're saying that the book has one truth in it with a bunch of non-truth and bullshit in it to mix it all up for some reason, because then that truth will make less sense.
There's many truths in this world. There's many ways to get truths in this world.
No, there's only one truth.
Well, then that's your problem.
My problem? No, it always
that's your problem.
It's always worked out that way, Barth.
Well, you can't have alternative truths.
There's many ways.
It's like you're doing a Kellyanne Conway, right? Alternate facts, all right? Like, come on.
I mean, there's many ways to the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's many ways, then how how do you know which one? Even if there's 5 of them, how do you determine which is the right 5? And are they all at the same level, or are they? Is there like in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6? Anything after 5 is non-truths.
Well, if you miss the bus at 2:15, the next bus comes at 3:15, right?
Yeah. So.
And that's the 3:15 bus.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So if you miss the 2:15, they have 3:15.
Yeah.
And you
so.
know the difference between 3:15 and 2:15, right? It's an hour.
Yeah. So.
So, but the truth is that the bus is still going to come at 3:15. And if you miss
It's not the same bus though. It's not the same bus, unless it's a bus that's a loop. But it's not the bus that you needed, right? Not the bus you needed. Right. But that's such a wimpy analogy, though. Like, I don't know why you don't have something better than that.
I have, because Boris, you've heard a lot of my analogies. What I got to give you new ones.
Hey, well, you and I have not really talked about religion. Not you and I. You may have talked to many other people, but I don't think you've ever talked to me.
So then, if it's not God, what is the set of all things? Can you explain that to me?
You know that in philosophy, that's called argument from ignorance, right?
Can I explain what? Set of what was that?
Can you explain the set of all things? What do you explain to me? What is the set of all things?
That's
the set of all things. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Way of looking at it, right? Because you're pointing to one thing that everything depends upon, and
exactly,
you've got no way of ever getting close to that point. As far as
what you're asking me, hang on. What you're asking me is to just
down.
Yeah, he's asking me to describe infinity, right?
Yeah, I know.
How can I do that? I don't get it. I already explained this. It makes no sense to me.
And they call it the singularity in the Big Bang theory.
Oh, this has nothing to do with Big Bang.
Well, you don't know about the Big Bang.
Hang on, this has nothing to do with Big Bang.
He's ignorant. He's ignorant.
Ooh, no. We're talking about a God that is, in my view, is incoherent.
Yeah, it is incoherent because he has his own logic. But then you have human logic. He doesn't have to adhere to human logic.
Listen. Logic is God's kryptonite.
No, it's not. Because once I come to a contradiction, I can just use a different logic.
Is logic green too?
Can God stop the sun and moon, right, from moving?
If he chooses to.
Right. So if he ever did that, do you know what actually would happen?
Not at all.
You, me, everything on this planet would be dead. Any loose rocks would be shot up into the friggin' sky at like 4 kilometers a second. So
what was the point of that? What was the point of that demonstration?
To show you your fucking ignorance.
In Joshua 10:12, it says God stopped the sun and moon till midday.
When was that?
Till midday, and they only had sundials in those days.
You know why they said that? Do you know why?
Oh my God! Right.
Because that's how we figured out. That's how we figured out there was different time zones in the world, and that 12 noon was when the sundial hit directly in the middle.
Sorry,
and it's there's a shadow right over the sundial. So
you're adding more and more context to support your ever decreasing.
No, hold on, Quasar.
What?
Guy, did you know that the Bible, the whole fucking Bible, was done in a area smaller than fucking Texas? Are you aware of that? Does your knowledge is that fucking narrow that you don't understand what I'm saying?
No, it's not. We're going to go back to Mesopotamian beliefs. That's how we came with the Adam and Eve story. That's an old Mesopotamian belief story. So that was
have you read the whole fucking Bible? Have you read the Bible entirely?
Yeah, I read.
Right. Well, what's the scope?
Not really, no.
Right. What's the scope? What is the fucking scope? What's the scope in location? What's the scope? How big the story is in the sense of location, area location?
I'll set a map for you. Wait, let me go in the chat. I'll put a map. I'll put a map for you. I'm gonna use a map.
Does it cover more than one continent? Does it cover more than one continent? Does it cover more? Say what?
Covered a lot of continents there. Covered a lot. That's bigger than Texas right there. Yeah, that's bigger than Texas right there.
Give me one story that is in the Americas. One. in the Bible?
In the Americas? That's way
Do
past.
you know what the
that's
fuck I'm
way
talking
past
about?
Texas. That's way
Say
past
what?
Texas. I'll tell you that. I said it's way past Texas. So we can go over the Mesopotamian story, right? With the Adam and Eve story, right? You can look this up. I know you guys love Wikipedia. Adam and Eve.
Do you understand the question I said?
Yeah.
What did I say? Yeah.
You're saying that all the things happened in this Mount Sinai area, right?
No,
But
I
they
said
traveled to
what
Egypt.
size? What
But they
size?
traveled to Egypt, and then they
What
said that
size?
they took the slaves from Mesopotamia and brought them to Egypt, right?
How big? Tell me the diameter. The
That's
diameter.
huge.
Fucking hell. Did
That's
they go to
huge.
fucking Australia? Okay, they go to Australia.
Fuck you guys.
Why
are
would they need to
funny.
go to Australia?
Yeah,
I'm trying to depict your stupid thing that you say about time zones. There were no fucking time zones.
You sure
That's
about
what
that?
I'm trying to.
So when Caesar went to Egypt and stayed in Egypt for a year's time, did you know that he learned more about the time of the day, the
time
days of the year,
zones. Time
time
zones.
zone? Exactly. There was different time zones when people traveled from boats from one section
One
to the
side
next.
what? One side what?
Then when they traveled from one section to the next, there were different time zones.
One
They knew
section to
this.
the next. Is that your scope? One section to the next.
Well, when
You
they
cannot be more
from
ambiguous than that. One
if they
section to the
travel
next.
from Mecca
Fucking
to
hell.
Medina, that's a different time zone.
Where?
Mecca to Medina, Medina to Jerusalem, Jerusalem
Okay.
to Egypt. I mean, those are
What-
different time zones.
Yes, but was Tulsa time a time zone back then?
It was what a time zone?
Tulsa time?
I can't hardly hear you. What did he say?
Tulsa time? Weren't they living on Tulsa time too back then when there was Mecca time?
Tulsa time. I gotta look that up. I don't know what that means.
Living on Tulsa time. Yeah.
They didn't have time zones back then.
No.
Didn't have time zones till there was either factories.
Yeah,
Factories.
And
were
there's also
available.
the Mormon time zone. Don't forget about the Mormon time zone because they were made in America. So when Jesus came to America on his last journey, he stopped off, made Joseph Smith realize that Mormonism is Jesus is Mormonism, and you've lo and behold you've got your homegrown all American religion that I personally buy more than I buy the nonsense from the Old Testament. I think the Book of Mormon has more truth value than the New Testament of the Middle East.
Yeah, because that sect are more intelligent than the fucking presuppers and the others.
Mormonism. I mean, if you guys want to believe in Mormonism, that's all.
We're not
that's all
believing in
fine.
nothing, my man. We don't believe it.
Thank you.
We're not
all right.
believing. We're using another point of view. You cannot even think about that. We're giving examples.
Well, I just told you there's different. I just showed you a map of that those are different time zones.
Like
You told me there was a size of Texas. That's I'll tell you that area that I just gave you there is not the size of Texas.
What did he give?
Well, BC and AD are those different time zones as opposed to the Chinese New Year, year of the worm. Are those time zones?
Well, a lot of these things have been whitewashed.
Oh, it's
A lot of the things that we have, a lot of the stories that we have, obviously have been they want to erase the past and go with the biblical narrative.
From the whiteboard, huh? Raised off the whiteboard.
Dude is incoherent, man.
New plan.
His mind is just.
So basically, what you're saying is that everything was in the Mediterranean Sea, right?
Yeah, look at that map I just gave you. They have all the different stories of the Bible, and look at all the map, and look how big it is.
Wow.
Look at it. Look. John was here in the First Corinthians. Acts was there. We're talking about Timothy all the way in Greece. We got Romans. We got Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, and over here in Israel. We have the Book of Job. These are all different. Galatians,
So you got people writing books, right?
Babylon.
Is that people writing books?
Yeah, it just doesn't
They were
prove a
men, yeah.
thing.
Men wrote books, yeah. They
Right.
wrote the books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. So
Yeah.
do you get the point?
What they do.
Yeah. It's what men
Happy
do.
days.
We write things down.
Try to explain
Yeah, but
things.
it's the veracity of the
Right.
claims, the veracity of the book making a claim that you can't support.
Yeah. I'm just telling you that I believe it because of what it does to me. How it makes me
Right.
feel.
Are you
hang on,
Christian?
hang on, Oscar. It's called feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Barthologist.
there's no other way for me to
Feeling.
describe. There's no other way for me to describe it but a feeling. Exactly.
So
That's why it's self-evident. That's why
feelings
it's
don't get you
self-evident
out
to
of a
me.
hard rock and a hard place. So.
That's why it's self-evident to me. Just like things are going to be self-evident to you.
Oh, are you Christian, sir?
Wow.
I am Jewish.
You what?
Vague.
Wow.
Very vague.
I'm Jewish.
You Jewish?
Was gegeignet.
Yes,
Right.
I'm a Sephardic Jew.
Okay.
You're what Jew?
Sephardic. Does that mean you're a Schwarzer?
I got some
Means
Jewish friends. I'll ask them.
I'm a Schwarz.
I got some Jewish friends in Israel. I'll ask them.
He's a man. He's all right. Barth is a man.
Sephardic Jews are Spanish Jews. They were kicked out during the Inquisition of Spain, which was a very horrible time for Christianity that I don't agree with. And
But
and they
why you
pushed
mention
everybody out of
Christianity?
Spain.
Why
So
you
they
mention
got- they go-
Christianity? You're Jewish.
I mean, why not mention Christianity?
you're
Because I
Jewish.
was a Jew. All right, my mother's Jewish. My mother's a Sephardic Jew. My father was Catholic, and I went to Catholic school. I went to 12 years of Catholic school, and then later on, I really figured out that I don't want to live a life where I just don't agree with a lot of things of Christianity. So I go back to my own roots of Judaism.
Hold on. Alpha's in the house. You understand? Alpha's in the house. Now
We got the guard dog here. We got the guard
Indeed.
dog.
Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. Oh, you don't want to bring it on, my son.
No, you don't want to tangle with this woman.
We're all men here. You guys
but-
can
but
bully me all
Bart,
you want. I'm not
there's
gonna cry
Bart,
about it.
Bart, there's just so many different people's perspective and point of view. How do I know which one of you guys are right?
You choose.
You don't have to believe me.
No, I know
You gotta
that,
believe
but
what's in
that
your
doesn't
heart.
answer my question. How do I? Which one of you should I believe?
The one you choose.
And how do you? Yeah, and how do you know you're right? Because there's lots of Jews that will
'Cause
disagree with you
I
as
feel it in my
well.
heart. I feel it in my heart.
Ah, you feel that you're right in your heart.
That's right.
Wow.
That's
Doesn't
and
your
that's all
heart?
that.
Doesn't your
that's-
heart like pump blood? Don't you know? I thought it's in your brain where you feel
No.
stuff.
He's got a special heart.
Oh, right.
God's gonna judge you
That's
on-
right.
he's
We
gonna
all
judge
have
you
a
on-
hole in our heart, a God hole. That's right. I
Gonna
forgot
judge you
about
on.
that.
It's gonna judge you on what's in your heart, not in your mind all the time.
Mm. So you're making decisions that are supposed to be rational with emotions, which is irrational.
That's the beginning. That's the
Oh,
first-
I make irrational. I've made mistakes in my life. Have I? I mean,
I'm not talking
not
about
perfect.
mistakes. I'm talking about how people make decisions. If you're making decisions based on emotions, that overrides your rationality, right? Because I
Well,
don't
if
think
I was part of a
you're
corporation,
applying rationality.
if I
You
was a
seem like a
CEO
rational
for-
guy for
I was
a
a
lot of
CEO
things.
to I was a CEO to a corporation. I wouldn't base my my decisions on a feeling. I would have to base it on some sort of fact or
Sure.
hunch.
What
or,
then? Why?
you know.
Why? So do you think the God idea is more is less important than being a CEO?
Of course it is. Being a CEO is less important.
Yeah. Well, then
Way
why
less important.
something? Hey, then why something more important you don't apply rationality to?
Because
like
money comes
God,
and
you
goes.
rather
Money
apply
comes and goes.
what?
Money comes and goes.
No, I
You
understand
make it,
that, but the thing
spend
is,
it.
Right, but if there's something less important, like being the CEO, that you feel you should apply rationality to make decisions, something more important, I'm going to apply. You're saying you're going to apply your emotion to make decisions
That's right,
instead.
because there is no logic to explain what's in your heart. You can
Well,
give
you
me
see,
all
this
your.
this,
You can
this
give
is
me a
why
classical
this is why
logic,
I have
non-classical logic. You can go with
this.
quantum physics
Sure,
or whatever you want to go with.
sure,
It's
sure.
always going to be a contradiction when you're
Right.
basing things
So
on your
that's why
heart.
I don't. Yeah, because that's why I don't believe you, is because you make no sense.
Mhm.
Right. And I'm sure that lots of atheists feel that way because it makes no sense.
Like how things make sense to you.
What's that?
As I said, just how certain things make sense to you. Nobody
There's
else.
lots of things that make sense to me.
Makes sense
Otherwise,
to me.
I wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be using this technology to talk to each other, right across the continent. Yeah, you're in New York. I'm
You're
on
as
the
good as
West
your
Coast.
options.
Yeah,
You know
those
that.
things make sense because they're predictable, and the stuff you're telling me makes no sense, though.
Sidney noise?
He's walking by.
He's what?
He's walking.
Wookie. So that's why I have trouble believing you, Bart. It's because you don't make sense.
Oh, obviously, we're talking about something that I find true and something that you don't.
No,
find.
I understand that. I don't consider truth to be dependent on one person's mind.
Yeah, that's why I know that there is the mind of God. That's why it doesn't just rely on me, because I'm not the only person that exists. I know that there's people around me that depend on some sort of universal, right?
Some sort of universal. I mean, you right in that sentence right there, you're not even sure yourself. In your God belief? Hang on, let me ask a question. In your God, how sure are you in your God belief in a percent, 0 to 100%?
100%.
And a minute ago, you said it's some sort of. If you have ideas that is some sort of, and it could be this or could be that, then it's not 100%. And the fact that you're 100% means you're closed-minded. You're closed-minded, Bart.
You're switching it.
What am I switching here?
You're trying to catch me in some sort of word game.
No, I'm not. It's not a word game at all. You honestly believe, you just said, and you can take it back, I don't care. You said you believe your God believes 100%. Yet you make a lot of statements that indicate that you're not sure, and you can have different beliefs. You can be this or you can be that, right? So how can you be 100% at the same time and not be, right? Like, to me, again, it makes no sense.
That's the beauty of faith.
Beauty of faith. Hang on.
Beauty of faith that you don't have.
Yeah, hang on. So faith is what you give when you don't actually have a good rational answer, right? So because if you had a rational answer, you would give it to me, wouldn't you?
Would you use faith to cross the road?
I would use my intuition.
No, I said faith. Faith.
Yeah.
He's
If you got heavy traffic.
He's going to tell you. Basically saying, no, I'm going to use this instead.
Exactly.
So I know, we know what Bart's saying, but we should. You know what the big key here is, though? We shouldn't all be angry at each other. There's nothing wrong with having a good conversation. But when it comes
to your age, you shouldn't be doing this.
What?
Men of your age should have this knowledge already of. That
a man of my age should have this knowledge.
Tell me exactly
already?
how I shouldn't be doing what exactly. Shouldn't be doing what exactly?
He's talking to me because he knows I'm 66. So,
but we're all over 60 here.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. I remember. That's right. So Bart, though, why at my age? What does age have to do with it?
Well, because you should have acquired enough knowledge already to know that you can't answer every question.
Well, I know that.
A lot of questions that can't be answered in that.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I knew that very young in life. So where does the question still remains? What does age got to do? I already knew this. You already knew this, that you can't answer all questions, right?
And
Exactly.
also, we
Yeah. So how
don't know an
how does that
ant.
relate to God though?
That's why you invent the word God. God is adult's way of people saying that they just know.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
the gaps.
Somebody
You
guys
recording
don't
me
wanna-
and playing back.
I mean, God of the gap would
Sounded
be,
like me.
would be a definition
When
of
we-
something that was in the gap. There is
When
no
we
gap.
say we don't know something, we don't go, "Oh, I wish it's a God."
No gap.
Yeah, you just don't fill it in
That's
as
the
God. It
difference
could,
between you and
you
us.
could put anything in that place. If you don't know something, you can drop anything you want in there that suits you. Is what you basically say. That's okay though, because you were saying earlier. Well, it could be Christianity, it could be Judaism, whatever. Even Catholicism. You even gave us Mormon as a choice, right? So and Muslim, not very likely. Okay, that's fine. But if people can just pick and choose, how do we know what's the right one? How do you know you picked the right one?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The truth is described in your heart.
Well, he just said
But the
before,
thing
you
is,
just
everyone
choose.
everyone
just
feels
choose.
different though, Bart. Everyone feels
And
different.
you're allowed to. I'm just
Well, we're
explaining to you.
choosing to
this
be
is my
But that
belief.
makes no
I'm
sense.
not trying to talk you into being a Christian or a Jew. I'm just
No,
explaining
no,
No.
that
I'm not.
I
No,
believe in this.
I know you're not trying to talk me into it. You're telling me how you feel about things, and I'm telling you how I feel about things, or how I understand and you understand, and I'm telling you what you're telling me how you understand things makes no sense.
To you, it doesn't. To me,
Well,
it does.
it doesn't make sense to a lot of people because another person can believe something totally different. So what you're trying to say is in your heart, it makes no sense. So we can believe anything. So even atheists, this is what's in my heart. Therefore,
And
I'm good to go, right?
and also you
No,
said
at
before,
the end of your
but
explanation, you're just going to say you don't know, and I'm going to say in my heart that I have faith in the things that I don't know.
Yeah, but at least I'm being
Yeah, but-
honest when I don't know.
I'm being honest too, and I'm telling you that the faith part.
Well, you
is
said
where-
100%.
you also said we shouldn't be doing this. You came into the room saying you guys shouldn't be doing this.
That's just the button he likes to push, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to start.
Yeah.
That's Bart's way of popping into a room and getting it going, right? So
Yeah. I wanted to get someone. Nor am I afraid. I didn't come in here with a whole crew of people. I came here by myself. I have no problem with that.
yeah, like where's Johnny to back you?
He's
Oh,
not
you
here.
guys have history. Okay.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you're actually here on this server too. I was kind of shocked to hear your voice.
Yeah, it was who invited me here? It was who's Skeptic? That's the what's it
Skeptic.
called?
Yeah.
Skeptic is the circumcision guy. What's his name again?
He's
That's
a
Tom.
nice old guy. What's your problem?
Tom.
Is it Tom?
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Tom, yes.
yeah.
Tom.
Tom.
Tom. Yeah, I've known Tom for years.
Yeah. So have I.
He's banned everywhere.
You-
Me and Tom
you
have
know-
this thing where we always invite each other to servers because
You know him for years, and you approach him as the circumcision guy.
Coming back.
Good friend that you
Well,
are.
Man.
Yeah, he's
We are- we-
He's well
I don't know
known
if
for
I
that.
said that. You guys knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah. He's well known for this, for being anti-circumcision.
I don't know.
No, I said circumcision,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
not anti-Semitic. I mean, he can be anti-Semitic also. That doesn't bother me.
I got no problem with circumcision.
it says in the Bible. I was studying something yesterday, and it says in the Bible. I'll have to look it up again that you shouldn't be cutting bits off of you. Did you know that? I'll have to find that again. I found it rather interesting that you shouldn't, like, no tattoos. You got a tattoo? I bet you have tattoos, Bart, don't you?
It's another reason not to read the Bible.
Yeah, don't read the Bible because you'll find out you're going to hell. All right, because there's just so many things.
I've got a question. I've got a question, but I'm an ignorant on some subject, so I need your expertise.
Ooh.
Right? Bill, shut up. Yes.
You say expert, I figure you're talking to me.
No. Bob is the main man.
Oh.
Adam and Eve business. Apparently, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. God took a rib out of Adam and made Eve, right?
Eve did.
Shut up. Crazy, you know what
Sometimes
I'm
you want to
fucking
turn
talking.
the cam off.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Oscar
Yeah,
called him Bob.
so if you want to be a cannibal, don't eat the males because they have one
Well,
less rib.
what it is that
It's
when
less
he
as
gave
good.
him all the animals he gave him all the animals, and he still wasn't satisfied. And
No,
it
no, I
says,
think
in the- it
no,
says
no,
But
he
that's
meant,
not what
he
he's
meant
talking
that.
about.
No, I'm not talking about that. I mean, you might not have so much retention. God took Adam's rib and made Eve. Is that how it happened?
oh, it's an allegory.
Oh, it's an
Oh,
allegory.
Yeah, it's an
Shit,
allegory.
you spoiled my end goal, man. Okay, cool. So it didn't exist.
but
That was
that's
not real.
interesting. That's interesting too, though. It's interesting because Bart, is there like a manual that you can direct me to tell me which one's allegory and which
Right.
is fact?
No, that's the beauty of the Bible. I could just nitpick on the things that I think are allegory.
Oh, so you can just cherry pick, right?
Basically, cherry pick. Yeah, I
Oh,
can cherry
okay,
pick
cool,
anything
cool,
that I
cool.
think.
Okay, yeah.
So you're making your own version of the Bible.
Basically,
No, not
yes,
even
I
Bible.
can do that.
You're
Yeah,
making
he's
your own
making-
version of the Old Testament.
The
Smith did it,
Jefferson
why can't I do it?
Bible. The
John
Jefferson
Smith did it, why
Bible.
can't I do it? I mean, you
What's
guys
that?
do it too. You guys
Yeah, we don't. We
Bible.
don't do it. We don't pick any of it, right?
Well, that's what I mean. You nitpick on the stories that you think are legitimate and are
No. We pick on stories that make no
Legitimate. You
sense.
just used the word there
Bart.
that you think that they're legitimate.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but this legitimate story
some of them
about
to be allegory. I mean, I find some of them to be, should I say, I use a different word, literal,
Yeah.
and there's other times where you could take them as allegory. Correct.
understand.
So how do you deal with a Bible literalist that wants to kill you for working on a Sunday?
Well, he can go fuck himself. That's
Right.
Oh, there
Of
you go.
course.
See?
Oh,
Oh,
right.
there we go.
Cherry picking. That's fine.
But hang
I need to
How
be
do you-
I need to be educated. The 6 days of creation, is that allegory or is that fact?
Yeah, there you go.
What do you want?
I actually find that story to be true.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool.
Is it allegory that God created the sun and moon after
Oh
he
shit!
created plants?
Shit! You spoiled my fucking.
Oh,
thing.
sorry.
Shit! I was getting there.
There was still light. There's still light. There was still light.
No,
out there.
yeah,
Well, I know
okay.
that, but hang on a second. If there was still light,
Earth was
did
dark and deep and
Did God on the
unformed.
fourth day? Did God on the fourth day slap his forehead and say, "Oh, when the light of me goes away, these plants are going to need light," and go, "Oh, right, okay, I'll just make the sun." It's like an afterthought. Come on, God doesn't do afterthoughts, does he?
No, you just don't understand. You just want scientific proof for God, and there is none.
No, I don't want scientific proof. It says right in Genesis how it happened, and it makes no sense.
No, hold on.
Doesn't need to make sense to you.
Let me
okay.
spin in another way. The first day of
Get it.
creation was the heaven and earth. Is that correct? Am I
The
paraphrasing
heavens
correct?
and earth. Yeah. The heavens
Heavens
and
and
earth.
earth. Right. First day, yeah.
No. First there was light. Right?
No, first day was the creation
No.
of the heaven
No,
and earth as
first
well.
and then there was light, right?
No.
Yeah.
Then no. Wasn't there separating waters from waters, and then he did the
That's the
light?
second day.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
second day, yeah.
That's the second day. But for having a first day, you had to create the earth. So the heaven and the earth was created the first day.
Word.
Yeah, and then at the end of that day, everything that God did was good. Yeah.
Fine. Oh, fucking hell. Not excellent. Not awesome. Just good. Yeah, like mediocre.
Just move right on to the very end.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? In the first day, what is your concept of 24 hours in relation of that first day?
Oh well, you're just mere human. You can't relate to what you think what God's day is and what a day is for you here on Earth. I mean,
You understand what I? No, but do you understand what I just? The Bible says there was
God's
6
logic.
literal days.
It's not for you to understand. It's God's logic. has
The
nothing to
what?
do with your scientific theorems or your
No, it says the first day, second day, third day, fourth day is the sixth
We're
day.
talking about God. We're talking about the creator of all things. He doesn't
Yes,
have to
yeah.
abide by your
Don't
rules.
expand it. Don't. Yeah, you're going over the fucking shop. The first day, the God made everything in 6 days. Yes or no?
In 6 God days, yes. Six God days.
Oh, 6 God days.
Yeah, 6
What's a God day? What's a God day?
Motherfucker.
I have no idea.
You
Great
making
question.
shit up.
I thought
That's called bullshitology.
bullshit.
Yeah, you should have a
Bullshitism.
PhD in bullshitology.
That's bullshitism is what he follows.
You know what's funny, Bart?
Fucking
Well,
hell.
Copernicus stole money from the church to support the heliocentric solar system, and the church was telling him he wasn't allowed to do it, and he was taking money from
well,
them
you must have a gripe with the
to
Catholic
make
Church.
models.
I have nothing to do with that. So you pick your gripe with them. I don't need
So
to defend.
science wins again.
No, I don't need to. I don't need to defend people in their horrible choices in life.
No, but Boris made a
Theory.
very eloquent
Theories
question.
again,
What is
theories.
a God day?
That's a good question. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to tell
Well, how
you.
the
but
fuck do you know what is a God day then?
If I compare
Why would
it
you say a
to
God
day
day? You just
to a
made it up.
normal day that you and I have, it's going to be classified a lot differently. And I think you and I both know that.
One day of Braham is 4.2 billion years. How do you explain that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Wow.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you guys
Is
are
that
stuck
a
on these,
feeling? Because they're pretty
it
close
is
to the age of the Earth.
might be a feeling. Yeah, you're right. A God day might just be a feeling for him.
Oh.
So he feels like he needs to rest or whatever it is. Does what he wants. Yes.
So
Yeah, I'll make
You
the
understand
right
that the concept of a day. What would constitute a
leave it
day?
on the table. Yeah,
wow.
go ahead.
He's got his daughter dealing with at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got,
okay.
I got,
So,
yeah, no. I got my twins. I got twin girls,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, congratulations.
and they're like the biggest bullies. They bully everybody.
Cane them or lose them.
They
you got
bully
to
everybody.
discipline them.
Cane them.
Why? Why?
The Bible says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child."
Why would I have to discipline them?
Must be done.
They're good kids.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
No. Dangerous territory. So that's interesting, my man. Barth, I never ever heard of a God day. You caught me by
Me
surprise there.
Neither, but it makes sense to me.
Of course, anything that you put in your mind, it makes sense to you. That's
Of course, that's
by
what I'm trying to
definition.
tell you. I can keep
Sorry?
fooling myself. I mean, I'm a man too. I mean, yeah, I blame things on my wife when they're my fault. What do you think?
Oh my
You don't
God.
think I'm a man? Every
What?
man does this.
No,
No,
I don't do it.
Yeah, I'm
no,
sure.
no.
No.
I don't blame
you-
my wife for things that I
Barth,
did.
do you speak Spanish?
Claro que sí, yo hablo español.
Va, yo también hablo español. Tú eres un machista.
Un mochito, tú eres
Tú eres un
chapucero,
machista.
mío, ahora tú eres un chapucero. ¿Tú sabes qué es un chapucero?
Sí,
Tú
yo sé
eres-
que lo que es un chapucero.
Yeah, chapucero tú eres.
¿Por qué?
Porque tú hablas
Isn't
mierda.
this an English only server?
Yeah, sorry. I just
That's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
pull it
All right.
rank.
It's okay.
Oh no, it's a South African English server. Sorry.
Yes, yeah. Ouch.
South African English sounds a lot like Spanish.
Who's got the vacuum cleaner going?
Yeah. See, that's what happens. You know, you have a vacuum cleaner. Was that Bart making vacuum cleaner noises?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, that's what happens,
I
Bart.
mean,
That's
I'll
what
show you what I
happens when you blame things that you did
I have my
on your
shop.
wife. You end up having to vacuum.
I'll show you my shop. Look, I'm cleaning up here. I got some sawdust and stuff on the floor over here. I'm trying to clean up my desk. I got my remote car.
Yeah.
Got my table saw, my chop saw, my little saw.
Yeah. Cool.
Trying to make this place look like something for my wife.
Yeah, well, you need a little room. Are you planning to build something bigger? All right, so you have the space, or Because you got to clean up, right?
Reciprocating
See,
saw.
I do electronics, and it doesn't take up as much space. So
Actually, I need to pick up your brain on something.
who?
Boris, you Boris.
Yeah.
Right. I bought my wife. I fucked up something. I bought my wife a electronic sewing machine from the States.
Okay.
Or I did not know that was coming from the States. I ordered via Amazon,
Sure.
right? And I was moving house in transition, so I just left it be. It would take it about 3 or 4 weeks or so, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, that she came to my house, and I'm in the UK.
Right.
Right. So now, if you got to start speaking, thinking very quickly,
It's a 110 sewing machine.
110, 50 hertz, and we are
Yes.
220. Sorry,
220.
110.
Yeah. 110 60. Yeah.
Correct. 110 60
yeah.
to 20 50. Right.
Yeah.
So we got two differential things. Right.
No, are you sure though? Some things.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
What does the label say on it? Does it
No,
say
no,
110, 120?
label. Yeah.
60 hertz?
Yeah. The problem that I've had is I tried to put to connect it, and I connected correctly, i.e., with a transformer, and
Right.
the pitch doesn't work. So
The transformer might not be big enough.
probably, but the problem, it won't light up. So I tried to contact Zinger.
Yeah, Singer. I know
Zinger,
the brand. Yep.
Yeah, Zinger. People here in the UK, they won't even fucking touch it. Right. So I was trying to find out somebody from the electronic side of it, not the machine side of it. I want to find out what the fuck is wrong. Right. And that's one. Second, if it's fixable. However,
did you plug it into 220 by accident?
yeah. Not that I recall.
Yeah, because you probably couldn't, because you go, oh wow, these plugs don't match.
Yeah, the
Like,
plugs
give you
don't
a
match.
clue
One going
immediately that
sideways,
there's
one
something
going
wrong.
Yeah, but
20. Yeah, but you could hook
It
up.
doesn't have-
Let's say I have a two-phase machine. I mean, it didn't matter as long as it still has the power to power it. It's perfectly fine.
No, because
No.
the sewing machines are precise. The phase will fuck it up. The motor will go fine, but okay, it doesn't power up. So I need to take it somewhere
Right.
that is from somebody from the electronic side of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To
Like
actually-
a guy that fixes TVs and stuff and home electronics should be able to help you out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. At least troubleshoot it.
But the thing is that if it didn't turn on in the first place, does it have like a little circuit breaker on it anywhere? Or
I checked everything. I checked everything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
but
you
the
did all
problem-
that already.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
all
you
that-
can
well,
take it to a guy that fixes. The best place is to find a company or an organization that say.
What kind of sewing machine did you get? Because I'm. Is it for embroidery? Does it have like a? What kind was it?
Quantum Stylist sewing machine 9060 something, some bullshit. Let me see if I got the fucking
some
picture
kind of a
for it.
singer.
It's you should always get a singer. Yeah, but the thing is that what is she doing with the machine? Does she want to do embroidery?
It doesn't fucking work. It doesn't fucking work.
No, but that's what.
No. What did you buy it for?
What did you?
It's a sewing machine for for sewing.
How big is? Yeah, but see, some of them are good for certain kinds of jobs. It was just general sewing. General sewing is what it sounds like he's saying. So
yeah.
General sewing.
Yeah, just basic stuff, right? Hems and seams and cuffs, and maybe it'll do zippers or whatever. Because an
I would get more of
embroidery
an
one.
industrial machine.
Yeah.
I would, if he's gonna do stuff like that, I wouldn't get any of the plastic ones, because those plastic machines, they're good for like embroidery, little things like that. They're not
But what I'm talking about is solving the problem of what I got, not what it can do.
He just wants to get it to work first. Then
Indeed,
he can decide if it's good enough.
I'll tell you to send it back. Just send it back.
Have you put a meter across it, Oscar?
Sorry?
Yeah, Bezos isn't gonna lose.
Have you put a meter across it?
Yeah. And
What kind of a meter would you put across it, and what setting?
It's a
What
multimeter.
are you looking for,
It's
right?
continuity.
Continuity I was looking for, yeah.
Sure, but did you get any continuity?
Only to the from the source to the
neutral.
machine to the entrance of the machine, but it doesn't go around. It doesn't go into the machine.
No. If you plug the plug into it and you put it on ohms, how many ohms do you get when you measure across the line in neutral? That's how you check it. You don't use a continuity meter, because continuity meters are looking for almost a dead short, right? They're looking for, I think they're usually beep or whatever at like 50 ohms or 30 ohms or something really low. And the transformer or whatever power system they have inside the sewing machine is probably higher impedances. It probably has a switching power supply even. It probably doesn't even use a transformer, right?
There you go. I was going to put a meter across it.
Yeah, but you may not measure a whole lot. You may see, if you take an ohm meter and you measure it, you might see a really low ohms, and then it just climbs up, because the first thing they do in switching power supplies is they take the AC that comes in and they convert it to DC immediately. And they do that by running it through rectifier and then through a filter capacitor. And then they run it through an oscillating circuit and run it at, instead of 50 or 60 hertz, which means they don't give a shit about that. They then run it at like, kilohertz through a smaller transformer to change the voltage the way they want it. Because if you run at a higher frequency, you need a smaller transformer to do the same thing. So that's what they do. So it might be difficult to measure it, right? If you don't pay attention, right?
Right.
Yeah, but it probably has a switching power supply in it, and you could probably open the bottom and inspect it, right, and have a look.
Yeah, is there any damage?
Because it has, because if it has a switching power supply, you can just which is funny, because which makes no sense, because most switching, well, maybe not. Most switching power supplies will run on either 240 or 120. So, but they usually have a switch on them. Some do it automatically. They're the more expensive ones. But Singer, I don't know. They could just have a very simple transformer type power supply in there, and it could be a fuse too in there that it is not accessible to the customer, right?
Probably.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I'd flip it upside down and take the bottom plate off and inspect it, right?
If only you could catch the smoke and put it back in.
Yeah, if only you can do that. But the thing is, you didn't see any smoke, right? So did you see? You didn't see any smoke, did you? You didn't see any smoke. Yeah. So it probably didn't get out, right? So, because once that smoke leaves it, you're screwed, right?
Yeah, that's
the magic smoke.
That machine that Bill has there? See that machine that Bill has?
What machine?
It's an old Singer sewing.
Yes,
pedal.
I think you can do leather with that one, can't you? Or no?
Oh, I've got something like that, the old pedal
that depends. All right. You might be able to do thin leather, right? So
my mum's got the old pedal ones with the 2 feet.
Well, they'll some of those will do leather as well, but thin leather. It all depends on the thickness and how the leather's cured. Like if you're using leather that you're making a leather jacket out of, that stuff's so soft, right? That's different, right? I mean, there's machines that can do the leather, but they can't do the big tough zippers or something like on a bag or whatever, like a backpack or whatever, right? So, because it's there's even some cloths and canvases that you can do leather, thin leather, but you won't be able to do the big cloth canvas stuff, right?
Yeah, Mum used to fix.
But usually the big old machines can do almost anything to a certain limit. Yeah, I think my mom has a Singer that she's had for like freaking 40 years or something.
Yeah, you'll never go. Listen, if the whole machine is cast iron like that Stinger, you'll never have to worry about getting another machine.
Well, my dad had to fix it ever so often, but he'd have the patience to actually go through all the mechanics to figure it out, because you have to learn how they work first before you can fix them. I don't think he learned how to fix them at steel fabrication school. It's just something. I think he didn't learn how to fix. So he just, I bet you the first time he opened it up, it's like a typewriter, like, holy shit, what's going on in here? Like, look at that. Look at all these levers and gizmos and gadgets. It's amazing how how we used to do stuff and how we do it today. Well, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you can say that the way we used to do stuff is Muggle technology compared to the magic we use today.
Yeah, but the only reason why I say to get the better, more stronger machine is because you always find yourself doing the limitation.
Yeah, but if you
get the good industrial machine,
yeah, but the
doesn't
thing
have
is,
all the electronics.
the
on
thing
it.
is but the thing is, Bart, any time you buy something like this, what if a person buys this really big, good, expensive machine and then ends up deciding they don't want to do that? It's better to get a less
Well, the
expensive
next time they
machine.
want something, you put the machine in front of them. You say, "Well, listen,
No,
I got you this, and you didn't use it, so you want something new."
so you're going to blame the person now again. Okay.
Of course I am.
Yeah. That's
not
right.
my
That's
fault.
your Bart.
I did my
That's
job.
right.
I bought it.
I forgot who I was talking
Yeah.
to.
It's not my fault. I bought the machine when they wanted it.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
Well, then
But
maybe they should worry about making
so-
choices. They should make the right choices next time. That's not my fault.
Oh, okay. So do they go to the Bible to make choices, or do you do it by what's in your heart, or do you actually use rational thought?
No, I use the asshole in me in that response.
Okay.
Respect
Okay.
that.
I didn't.
That
think
was
about,
the most sensitive
I didn't
thing you
think
have said
about
today.
I didn't think about that part of the
Shit.
anatomy as being part of decision making. I forgot about that one.
Check these books out. You want to see what this book is? Like, you want to see this book? Look at this book. Look at this book says, right?
You got a
Look
book?
what it says here. It says the history on Christian Zionism.
Ooh, how old is that book?
I don't know.
That's cool.
How old is this book?
I'm just dying to
2003.
be a Zion.
Oh, okay.
Probably a reproduction of something
Yeah.
else.
It's got two of them, a volume 1, volume 2. Then I got this book over here. It's a dictionary. It's a Bible dictionary. Isn't that amazing?
No. It's a bit,
Another crock of shit.
it'd be a bit biased, don't you think? A Bible dictionary. You're muted, but
No, I'm just trying to throw stuff away. I'm trying to make sense of this garage.
Well, if it's a 2003, it's probably not worth keeping, right? Because you can get all that crap off the internet. I threw away a lot of books because
Yeah,
hello.
I mean, this Christian
hello.
Zionism, I think I just keep it because it says Christian Zionism. That's the reason why I kept it.
It'll just take a picture of it then.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Because there's just some books that have some like, I had some older books, old magazines and electronics, and if I can't find it on the internet, I'll just take a picture of it, of the page, and then throw the thing away, right? Because we have photocopiers right on our hands, right? Like, what are we doing? Collecting all this crap.
you've got OCR now. You don't have to take a picture and just.
Well, just ask. You'll find
turn
out,
to a text
Bart. You'll find out when you get older, when people don't want to help you move because you got too many books.
We're happy, yeah.
I
also
have to be honest with you. I'm not moving anymore. I moved already. This is the third kitchen I built for my wife.
You sort of get it. Now the thing is, there's another age that you have to start thinking about is when you get close to, your kids are grown and they're sort of on their own, and you get to an age and you think to yourself, what is all this shit that I got? How are they going to figure out what's good and what isn't? I should probably throw the shit away and keep the good stuff. Right? Like my mother-in-law.
My wife is big on that. We throw everything out. We don't save nothing. We save absolutely nothing. We throw everything out. So I'm
okay.
I agree.
No,
with
you shouldn't throw everything out, but you know.
No, we keep.
But you're in New York, and if there's a zombie apocalypse, you know, you're screwed anyway. So
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'll be a zombie in no time. No problem with that.
yeah. But you know, I'm the old guy that may not be able to go out there with swords and shotguns and chainsaws and fight off the bad people. But I can make shit that does that. So I've many times got bits and pieces and slapped something
You have
together
enough
that I built in
crossbows?
5 minutes with the song to MacGyver in my head while I'm doing it.
Think I have enough of crossbows here, guys?
Crossbows, is that what those are?
Yeah.
Well, oh, how is your? You told me a story a while ago about the fencing and how bulging or some stupid bullshit thing. And how did that turn out? You damaging the fence or something? The chain link. Remember some time ago? I think it was a tennis court or something. You remember that part? It's almost a year now, I think, or 6 months at least.
Oh yeah, I'm actually moving on into. I'm actually gonna put my net inside the tennis court now. I don't give a shit. I'm putting it inside a tennis court. I got this foam to put on the bottom of the net so it doesn't scratch the floor. And I'm gonna be using the inside of it because it rains too much here. It like gets too. It's like the ground, the grass is too soppy. Plus, she's in high school now. She's on AstroTurf all the time. So we're gonna be practicing in the tennis court.
Yeah, I was thinking the story you were telling me about you guys damaging the fence, or they were coming after you for something to do.
Well, it was just because I got in that guy's ass about stupid shit.
So that all worked out in the end, did it?
Yeah, they don't want to fuck with me. You crazy?
Of course not.
Of course not.
You use the asshole part of your body, and they don't want to deal with that.
They don't want to deal with me. Yeah. So
I guess that works in New York.
Well, the thing here is that it just starts to perpetuate into something that you forget what you were arguing about in the beginning, and show people don't want to go that route.
Yeah, see, here in British Columbia, we just have so much space that if you don't like being near certain people, you can just go somewhere else. Right? It's easy. Just walk away. I mean, a country, how big, what would like 38 million people, right? And the country is like second largest to Russia, land-wise.
What are you talking about? You could fit the whole United States and China and all shit ton of countries in Africa. What are you talking about? Africa's the biggest.
Africa's not a country, though. It's a continent.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a country. There's only 38, 39 million people here in Canada. We need immigrants, but we want immigrants that keep their shit at home and bring their good stuff. You know, maybe if they have good food or whatever, or they have a special skill. That's the kind of stuff we want. Keep your other bullshit at home. Don't come here if you're going to bring your bullshit. But bring your other good stuff. Because see, what we'll do is we'll have more taxpayers. So our taxes we'll be able to pay for those roads, right, or get better roads because there's not enough of us to pay for the roads.
I drive a truck.
All right, you live in the best country in the world. All right, can we move on?
Move on.
I mean, are you just going to keep talking about how great where you live is? I mean, let's move on.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's move on then. What's next?
We'll do both. We'll do both. All right.
What's your next question?
Move on and say how great it is here in British Columbia, right, Sidney?
This is the best spot on the planet here in British Columbia.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which happens to be in Canada, so it's like a cherry on top.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's right. Well,
The
so
black
now,
people tell me all the time how the stop and ID thing gets out of hand out there.
where?
It's kind of weird. Stop an ID, they could just basically stop an ID you at any given moment.
Where?
In Canada.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not true.
That's not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
There's no ID anything. What are you talking about?
You don't.
Yeah. You don't
have to hand over
have
ID
you don't have illegal
if
searches.
they.
You have a parliament.
Daddy, can I have some milk?
Yeah, you want milk? Oh, yeah.
No, you don't have to hand over your ID here, Bart. If they don't have a good reason to be stopping or and talking to you or whatever, you can just walk away. It's not a big deal.
I've done
And the
that.
thing is, the cops don't shoot you either if you do that. So
There is a
so you actually don't fear. Maybe in the States you got to do that. Because, as soon as in the States, if a cop wants to talk to you, the first thing you got to do is throw yourself on the ground and on your belly with your arms and legs spread out. Right, you got to do it immediately. Otherwise, they'll shoot you. Right? Here we don't. It's not quite like that.
He's probably jealous.
And I've been talked to cops lots of times, and they've never asked me for ID unless I'm driving my car, and then they're stopping me. And that's a legitimate reason. They're actually not asking for ID. They're asking for my driver's license, which is ID as well. So, which is a legitimate question, right? Is, can I see your driver's license? Well, I'm not going to give you my ID. What are you stopping me for? Usually the cops here, they'll tell you why I'm. Do you know why I'm stopping you, sir? Oh, yeah, speeding. Okay. Yeah, and if you tell them you were speeding, they'll give you the minimum, even if they could ticket you higher. If you admit to your mistake, they generally. I've even been just warned, even, right? There's no one else on the road, and I'm just driving along, and I realized I was coming up to a cop, and he was driving a certain speed, and so since I was closing on him, he could tell I was speeding, but he didn't know exactly how fast I was going, and he says, and then I'll get pulled in behind him. Then he pulls over to the side of the road, and then pulls in behind me and pulls me over, and he says, you were speeding or something. I go, yeah, well, there's no one around, so I was just kind of just not paying attention to my speed. He says, you don't have cruise control. I go, no, I don't. Right, so he just gave me a warning. Okay, thanks, man. Just slow down next time. Okay.
Just say you're going at the speed of the flow of traffic.
Yeah, that's right, my own. That's pretty much it. Yeah, the cops here are actually not too bad if you're not a dick, so.
So I have a question, guys. I honestly have a serious question. So when you guys come to a contradiction, does that automatically mean that that statement is false?
Which statement? Though contradiction usually is there's one thing that contradicts another, so there's two things involved. So
yeah.
So what you're asking is that you automatically determine that one of them is false? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, or that both of them are fallacious.
Yeah,
I mean,
both of them could be false. But just because you encounter a contradiction doesn't mean I don't make an assessment of if both are incorrect or one's incorrect or whatever. That's a further assessment, right? But once a contradiction is encountered and you've determined it is truly a contradiction, and then you just go on further. I don't automatically assume one or the other.
IPL.
Good evening.
Or none of them for that matter.
It's like being omniscient and then something else having free will. You can't know everything and not know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a contradiction of, let's just say, P and not P, right?
This is how you disprove God, right?
And P and not P equals something.
P and not P plus not P. Where do you get this from? Like, what are you talking about?
Can P and not P equal a true statement?
No, something cannot
No.
be the
But it's not.
opposite.
That breaks
opposite
the law of
itself.
identity.
Yeah.
It's not what it is.
Yeah, but that
This is
doesn't
how you
mean that
disprove
you can't
God.
use different logical
It's like
systems. I mean, obviously, classical logic will break down, so you can use non-classical logic, and you can still come to some sort of understanding of what it is, right?
Well, I use logic that I was taught in school when it comes to computers, and I don't know of any other kind. And a 0 can't be a 1.
there are
Yeah, but you
several
can use power consistent logic with
things of
computers.
logic.
You can use power consistent logic,
Well, that's
will
logic. Still logic. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
which categorizes contradictions, right? So you could still come to some sort of truth statement, even though two things contradict one another.
Yeah, that's what we said before.
Explain that one. A cannot be both A and B, right?
Well, A can be B. That just means it.
No, A can be B, but it cannot be A.
Well, it depends on the axiom, right? Well, it depends on how you
if it's a variable.
Yeah,
well, it's a law. It's the law.
Variable.
It's the law of contradiction.
Well, that's why we use A's and B's and P's and V's. They're all just variables, right?
It's a second law of thought.
Assign variables.
Yeah.
In the laws of thought, A equals A, law of identity. A cannot be both A and B, law of contradiction. Every statement.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
Every statement is either true or false. There is nothing in between. Law of exclude. That's the law of the excluded middle.
That's classical logic. I don't have to use classical logic to understand everything that I know. I mean, logic really breaks down.
Where does it break down?
I mean, it can break down on so many different systems when you're talking about.
Give us your best example, please.
The law of excluded middle.
Okay, what
the
about
law of excluded middle can easily be broken down.
Oh. If you have a true dichotomy, is there other choices? Because they're talking about a true dichotomy here.
Keep over talking me. I'm not going to be able to answer the question.
Hey. We are going to be respectful in this room above everything else, okay?
All right, but don't over talk me because then it frustrates me. Okay. Not everything uses the law of excluded middle. Sometimes there's three answers, and that violates the law of class. That violates classical logic. So classical logic easily breaks down in a lot of different situations, especially when it comes to computer science and the quantum world.
Okay.
So again, why would you only use classical logic?
Okay, the law of the excluded middle is this.
Use classical logic.
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
The
law of excluded middle is every statement is either true or false. There is nothing in between. Correct?
Yeah. And not every
it's a dichotomy.
Has two answers.
It's a dichotomy.
Not every proposition just only has two answers.
It's a true dichotomy.
Well, ultimately, there are. It either is or it is not. And you do a Venn diagram or Venn diagram or whatever the frick they're called. Everything outside the circle is not what's inside, right? So that's, something is something and everything else is not that.
So what happens when the two circles overlap one another? And then there's something in the middle. That violates the law of excluded middle.
No, that's the mathematical logic.
Yeah, that's different.
Law of excluded middle is mathematical logic, and not a lot of things we need math to prove it, right?
Well, in digital computers, there's either 1 or 0. There's nothing in between.
In quantum computers, there are 6 states or 8 states at the same time, right? So that's why we have different kinds of logic.
Yeah.
So
your law of excluded middle breaks down very easily.
What she says that she will not use the classical logic. But you do. That's the funny point about your.
So what happens when what happens when the principle of explosion? When you have to use the principle of explosion, I'll give you an example. all lemons are yellow. All lemons are not yellow. I'll repeat it. All lemons are yellow. All lemons are not yellow. These are both true statements and they contradict one another. What happens when you come to this principle of explosion? What do you do?
First of all, you have to prove it.
I have to prove what?
No,
I just
it's
proved
like
my
you make premises. You make premises,
I
right?
just
And
just
then
proved
you're
my
saying,
statement.
"Oh, the
Guys, I
conclusion
made a
is."
statement. Try to listen to me.
Hold on
I
a
made
second. Hold on a second. Barthologist, if you don't want to be interrupted when you're talking, then please don't interrupt others while they're talking. Is that fair?
Well, we're just trying to have a conversation here.
I know,
anyways.
but he
We're-
got
we're
very
not-
upset when
Yeah,
he was
yeah, I
interrupted,
know.
and he's interrupting other
No,
people.
no big deal. No big deal.
That's hypocritical.
Yeah. Sometimes if someone makes when someone makes 3 or 4 things in a row, you got to like start. You can't just let them go on because you can't. It's hard to circle back a lot of times, right? When you make a statement. But anyway, sorry. Carry on.
So the thing was, the proposition or the premise was, all oranges or all lemons are yellow, and all lemons are not yellow. This is not an argument, and this is not a premise. So like you make a premise, and then you say this is a contradiction. No, all lemons are not yellow, and not all lemons are not yellow. You have to formulate this differently to make an argument out of that.
Are you done?
It's just already an assumption. So there is no argument. There is no logic. It's like you said nothing.
This is what I'm trying to explain to you, that when you come to this, when you come to these problems with language, right? And logic, and the logic that you're using is this classical logic. Okay, classical logic was coined in the 19th century, and it's the beginning of analytical philosophy. Yes. Aristotle was Aristotelian. The classical laws of logic didn't arise until the 19th century. If you didn't know that, then I'm sorry to tell you this. But classical logic, I don't know who coined the term, why they call it classical logic, but it only arose in the 19th century because they wanted to apply logic to math. So the law of excluded middle, the law of non-contradiction, and the law of identity.
Bullshit.
Why are you
I'm sorry.
if I'm talking? Why are you talking if I'm talking?
Because
law
you're
of
talking bullshit.
You're black.
And the law of unbelievable.
Yes.
And the law of excluded middle is so that we can mathematically prove things with using logic. We came up with this logical system. Kant ran with it, okay, and other philosophers at the time. But if you notice, if you notice Hume and all the other philosophers before from the 17th century, they had their own logic. They had their own definition of words. That's why it was always very difficult to read them directly, right? You always needed someone to interpret their understanding of what they understood logic to be.
Okay,
right?
all right, fine. Now, I don't think that philosophy really fits into the format of this room, because we state here that all gods are imaginary, and we invite theists to prove us wrong. Philosophy is not a method that you can use to prove us wrong. You're going to have to come up with something else.
Well, I'm trying to explain to you that you're going to use logic. You're using this logical system that eventually is not going to make sense, and you're going to violate your own laws. Critiquing someone else's. So
but
the
you
law
will use the same logic to prove your point. So what's the point? What's the
No,
difference?
I don't use the same. I don't have to use logic at all. I mean, I could use it. I could use it within conversation to show you.
So let's dismiss all the thing. Let's dismiss all the thing and make your proof for God, and then here we go.
Well, this is what I want to explain to you. Before I go into that, I want you guys to understand that
No. Go ahead, prove us.
System that you guys use was never arose. Didn't always exist when the Bible was written, right? So when the Bible has its own logic, it has its own understanding of how things are.
But
So
how do you using logic?
you want to
Yeah,
bum
but
rush
so does
the
Alice in
Bible
Wonderland,
with
dude.
something
Don't
that
come
is
with
from
that bullshit.
19th century. Well, you want to bum rush the Bible from this understanding of logic in the 19th century. Obviously, you
Barthologist.
yourself can come up with many contradictions.
Barthologist.
Pathologist, don't care about the form. Just
Alice in
bring
Wonderland.
the evidence.
Alice in Wonderland has its own logic. So if you say the Bible has its own logic, that's meaningless.
Yeah, Harry Potter is more logical than the Bible. So here we go.
See how I'm using historical facts and I'm trying to be intelligent with you guys. I'm trying my best to articulate myself in the proper way, and then you guys respond with Harry
don't
Potter.
try to be what you're not, okay?
And you know what I mean?
You
All
know,
the
really,
time,
Paul,
like, I'm telling you guys,
Hang on.
and you guys.
You said the
you
Bible,
guys
and we
you
said
Alice in
Harry.
Wonderland.
Don't fucking play
Think
that
about
role.
it, man.
You
Now
said the
now you guys
Bible.
want to curse at me.
You said the
I
Bible.
don't think you guys are ready for this conversation. This is what I'm getting at.
Hang on, Bart. Let me ask you this.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. He said the
this is
Bible.
important.
Hold on. It's not. Let me say something. He said the Bible, and we said Harry Potter. They're both works of fiction. They're just from different times in history. That's all.
Yeah, no, but that's your opinion, and Bart doesn't think they're works of fiction. So I'm going to address this question to Bart and not assume that it's works of fiction. But the thing is it was written long ago. So what you're saying is that has more truth than today, is what you're suggesting, Bart. Are you suggesting?
What I'm trying to tell you is the things that you believe in yourself today are going to violate classical logic. I could give you a perfect example.
Sure. No, hang on.
Like with language in and of itself. And I said, all lemons are yellow. All lemons are not yellow. These are both true statements that contradict one another, but it is the principle of explosion.
They're not true statements, though.
They're both true statements.
No, they're not.
They are both true statements.
No, they're not. Because I can, you know how I can tell you? Because I can just bring in the first statement where all lemons are yellow, I can bring a green lemon, and then and that automatically shows that I falsified that statement.
Exactly. So that would be that all lemons are not yellow, right?
No, because all lemons are not yellow. I just have to bring the same thing. The green one and the rest are yellow demonstrates that both are wrong. Both statements aren't true.
Okay, so they're both false statements then.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're both false.
They're both false. So what makes them true? What makes them true?
But they're not true, though. They're both false. Because they can both be falsified easily by showing a lemon of a different color, right? So
depends on what the lemons.
No, I know, but I mean, lemons are green before they turn yellow, right? So, anyways, the point is that both statements are false. They both can't be true, but they can both be false.
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Now you guys.
Oh yeah, right. But the point is it still hasn't broken any laws of the classical, the three main laws. It still hasn't broken any of those yet.
You sure about that?
No.
Why do you rely on these three
demonstrated it.
I'm not sure about anything exactly, but at this point, I'm sure about what we're talking about. Sort of. I'm at 99% sure. My door's open, unlike you, who's 100% got the door closed. I'm ready for you to tell me where I'm wrong.
I'm looking for a fucking lacrosse ball that I can't find in my garage.
You don't have a tile on them or an Apple locator thing on all your crossballs? Come on.
But pathologist, why don't you just state your argument instead of jumping around and talking what the premises are or which logic we have to use? Just present your argument and we can move on.
My argument stands is that God is the necessary precondition of any fact that you know. God constitutes, and He is everything that is, can, and cannot be. And
you just look at that sexy thing.
He instantiates and secures all states of affairs. Now, if
Darcy.
you have a
It
better
is Darcy.
explanation
So,
of yours,
yeah. I'm going with you because this is a press-up argumentation. So, would you also claim that every fact is based on God, or is it included in your argumentation? Like every true fact?
there is not one fact that does not reference the necessity of God. You're 100%
Okay,
right.
if I go to my bathroom and stand on the scale, does it give me a fact?
Yeah, that's in causal relation to everything that led up to that point.
How God is playing
That's
into
what
it.
I just explained to you. That there is the causal relation that is from the beginning that leads up to this end point that you're saying right now. So if you guys, if I say an argument, right, and all you guys are going to do is just make fun and laugh and do
I'm
stupid
not
shit,
making fun of you at all. I'm just trying.
There are
make
some.
a point.
Bart's right. There are some people
There I
giggling
am.
and
I'm
snickering
right
in the
there.
background. So, see, but, you
I'm
know.
right
but-
here.
So I mean, I have no issues with that.
Is
you know?
my weight
Just
dependent on God or the truth of God? So is my
floating.
weight independent? And when I'm going to my scale and standing on it, and it tells me Pia weights today 250 pounds, right? How is the scale dependent on God? Or will I be weighing something different when God will be not there?
No, wrong question.
Yeah, I don't even understand the question, to be honest.
Well, Pio even gave it to you in pounds, even though he does things in kilos. So he was nice enough to convert for you.
Yeah, I tried my best.
Yeah. Good job.
Your weight is an accurate description of whatever is actually occurring when you step on the scale.
Yeah, but if you're on Mars or on the moon, that will read different, right? So what Bart, I think, is what Bart's trying to say.
It's just
What Bart, I think, is trying to say is that God substantiates gravity. So that causal relation is there. It's God that made you weigh 250 pounds. On that scale, made that scale show 250 pounds when you stood on it. So that's, I think, is what he's saying.
Right. But all these descriptions, weight, even the scale, all these things are descriptions of what's actually occurring. Actuality.
Yeah, sure. But God substantiates all these actualities, right? Is what Bart's trying to say.
Not dependent God. God has to be actual.
Well, you first have to demonstrate it, but isn't his? But God isn't your God. Bart, isn't your conclusion the premises are in your conclusion and your conclusions is in your premises? Isn't that isn't there something wrong there?
It's a precept. He's coming from the precept stuff, right?
Yeah, you can't have you can't put God in your premise and your conclusion. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Because you're using these inference rules that I told you don't apply to the Bible. So
so now you're making special rules, right? Like
there is, just like you are.
That's why people bring up Harry Potter, because J.K. Rowling made special rules as well.
Right.
Well, I'm not trying to make fun here, though.
But what causal powers does Harry Potter have over the existence of God?
J.K. Rowling. She wrote it down. Yeah. She's the god of that.
You don't have it. You don't have it.
It's from her mind.
If I could demonstrate to you that the people who wrote the Bible, whatever of you go with the Torah or New Testament, they just invented it and changed it over time, so it cannot be true.
Holy crap! What's going on?
Just like they did with your logical
if I demonstrate it to you, would you go back?
You still believe in it. So like this is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. You're gonna special plead and think that everyone has to follow the rules that you follow, but the rules that you follow are contradictory.
Wow, what's over
there? Your rules are they contradict one another, because for you to say you to sit here and say that no science was ever sort of manifested, that sciences didn't manifest themselves into different understandings, and the steady state theory was the only theory at the time, and then now
talking about that.
Bang, So you know,
I didn't ask you that at
you're
all.
not following the same rules that you want
What
me
you
to.
are talking about?
Bart, can I ask you a question? Do you know what special pleading actually means? Can you describe it?
Yeah, it's the fact that you're setting special rules that only apply to what you want it to be. So you saying if God exists, then he needs to come to my bed and tickle my feet at night. That's special pleading. That is special pleading. That is saying that you're forgetting about all the other rules around you, and you're setting this one special rule
Isn't that what
to
you're
whatever
doing?
you
No?
want to say it is. And listen to me. I'll just look special.
Triangle. Look,
Yeah.
we broke
Yeah,
it.
Special pleading.
but whatever you're talking, you didn't bring us the evidence or the
Special pleading
demonstration, right?
Oh,
You just
involves a
make some
person
assumption.
applying rules and standards to others while exempting him or himself or herself. In addition, with special pleading, the person does not provide a logical reason for why he or she should be exempt from the rules
Right.
or
Yeah.
standards. Right.
Which is
So
what you
you're
do.
saying that your
Yes,
rules,
exactly.
your personal rules,
What rules?
only
Barthologist,
apply.
Kind of like
Hang on.
exactly
going
what
on
you're
here.
doing.
Hang on, Pio.
Oh.
You said our rules. Name the thing that we did that broke that rule that did the special pleading.
You're saying that Harry Potter is equivalent or can be compared to the Bible.
That's not special pleading.
Well, then what is that? Why bring it up?
It has nothing to do with special
Because
pleading.
Why try to match something up with it?
they're
That's what I-
both-
that's what I don't
they're
know.
both
We're just
fiction.
doing a
If it's something
comparison.
that does not make sense to you, why are you trying to compare?
Barth, they're both fiction. We can bring it up.
To me,
think
they're
we think they're fiction. So
Well,
that's
then
why it was
fine. Then
brought
when
up.
you have
But-
when you guys have private conversations and you want to have a serious one with somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, then maybe you should talk about those things.
No, we're trying. We're
But
trying
just-
really hard.
But just being immature and pedantic doesn't really get you anywhere in a conversation.
Let's go back to zero. Demonstrate your assumptions. Don't say what God is, right? Demonstrate it. Demonstrate it.
You want me to demonstrate it? What? With induction or deductively?
No. Forget about the logic stuff. Just make your argument what convinced you to believe in this God.
I was never convinced. It always just was. It just is.
No. So you're indoctrinated then.
Completely.
Yeah.
So you don't even know what you're believing in it.
God actually exists because
He always did to me.
Bart, I was never indoctrinated. I'm 66 years old. My parents never told me that this is all true. They did try to convince me once of Santa Claus and indoctrinate me, but when I started asking questions, they just smiled and walked away pretty much, and let me figure it out on my own. They didn't keep pushing me. So what you're suggesting is that if you get indoctrinated, it must be true, is what you're trying to say.
Well, it's true to me. Yeah, you
Okay.
asked me. Listen to me. You asked me for my argument and why it is. Now you guys aren't happy with it. You
didn't give one yet, actually.
No,
you guys
we're just trying
realize
to
that there
understand.
is
We're
no
just
proof.
repeating
You
what you
guys are
said.
not going to
So
ever
your reason, we are
any
not
proof
satisfied
anyone
with
ever
it.
gives you.
You are
Okay.
saying that because you are indoctrinated, this is the reason why you believe in God. Yeah.
There are things
Congratulations.
that are self-evident to me that you're going to have to find in your heart and soul that are self-evident to you. As we all know that, common sense is not all that common. We see this at work all the time. There are things that are plain in front of people's eyes, and yet they still can't figure it out, right? Well, proof has already been given.
Moons has got.
You just decide to not accept the truth. That's not my fault.
Okay, we don't need the speech, because I think you're insulting us by saying that we
This is
don't
real
accept
time.
that we don't accept the
position.
evidence, that we don't accept the truth. That is nonsense. You're quoting from you're quoting from a book of fiction. You call it the Bible.
Well,
Just because you don't think that it's not fiction doesn't mean to say that it's not fiction. And we treat it as fiction because it is fiction.
I'll tell you why I don't accept it. It's because it makes no sense, Bart. I can't accept things that make no sense. If I ask you questions and you're like hopping all over the place and changing the roles and changing the goalpost and you know, argument from incredulity or argument from, if you're all over the place and it makes no sense to me, I'm not going to accept it. It's that simple. You wouldn't accept shit that makes no sense to you either.
Oh, but does it?
I'm sorry that you're not bright enough to use other logical systems once a concept.
Nothing to do with logic. If it doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry that you feel this way, but that doesn't mean that other people are wrong about what they believe.
No, but you gave us the only reason you gave us
here now.
is because you were indoctrinated. This is your only reason for believing in God. And sorry for just saying that this is not a good argument. Because it means if you be a Muslim, if you grew up in Pakistan, you'll be a Muslim now.
Anything.
Right?
Santa Claus, even if your parents kept pushing it.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is your reason. And now you're trying to say, oh, we don't see the obvious. You gave us any reason. You could not demonstrate your God. You just said, oh, I was indoctrinated.
I gave you a pre-sub. I gave you the pre-sub argument. You guys don't like the pre-sub. I give you a self-evident story about what I believe. It's not good enough there.
You give us a story. Yes.
I'll give you more and more arguments and more proof. You're still never going to be satisfied. Your dogma is to just disagree.
No, we are interested in truth.
You never accept
but you are the
true.
one who is just.
Can anything be 100% true to you? Can anything be 100% true to you? Answer that question.
Yeah.
No, not me.
Yes. For me, no. It can be 99.9999.
Well, it's a high degree of confidence.
Guess what? Then you'll never come to understand what truth is.
100% yes.
Is that what's 100% though? You mean if you're 100%?
If you don't know what 100% certainty is, then you're never going to be satisfied.
Are you 100% certain about that?
You're always going to find some sort of loophole. You're always going to find some sort of problem.
And dedication. It's
not about finding,
and you fail.
I'd like to talk about this 100% thing for a second.
Okay.
If you think you're 100%, Bart, right? That means the door is not open to anything. So why are you talking to people? If you're absolutely certain about something, why are you here trying to convince yourself effectively instead of just going about your business? Why bother?
I told you, I got invited here.
Oh.
I clicked on it, and I started talking to you guys.
Yeah, but why don't you talk about
it? So then I came in like a bat out of hell. I said if there is no God, or I said something like that.
Whatever,
whatever it is, We kept talking. Then then Theo comes in. He wants to tell me his best argument. I gave you 2 arguments already. You told me they were shit. But you never any argument. You never.
Why not just say I believe in it 100%, and I don't want to talk about it. If you guys don't want to believe me, that's fine, and go talk about something else. Why do you?
I said that already. I said that before. I told you your logical systems break down. I said that.
No. What you're doing is you're continuing the argument by saying that. Why not just talk about something totally different that has nothing to do with what you believe with respect to some deity of sorts? Because you said you're 100% believe it to be true.
That's right.
Yeah. And if it's 100%, why are you still searching and looking at old documents? It's like you're just trying to do self-affirmation. If you 100% believe in it, you wouldn't need to do that.
Yeah, you're doing what I do. I do this to atheists all the time. What are you talking about? I have a positive belief. I don't have a negative belief. You have the negative belief.
But I'm talking about 100%. If you 100% believe something, you don't.
Because I have a positive belief.
I got you.
I have a positive belief too. But Bart,
you have to accept the God belief.
I would like to ask you another question, if I may. But tell me if it's the time.
In order to reject it, I'm not.
You're over talking, Barth. You got to let other people talk as well. That is what you were complaining about when you were having a problem with us over talking you. So please respect us. Thank you.
So can I ask my question? Or
Yes,
anybody want
yes.
to?
Go ahead. No, Pio, go ahead.
So imagine, Bart, you are meeting someone who has another God belief, and he is 100% sure that his belief is the true one. Does it make it any effect on your belief, or you are saying
Not one
still?
bit. Nope. It doesn't make no effects on my beliefs at all.
So you mean this guy is totally crazy?
No, I would tell him that when he came to God, right? That he came to God in his personal way, right? Something that meant something to him in his life. So how am I a mere man to tell him that he is wrong, right? He found his truth.
No,
only
but you
thing
will
I
say
can do,
Christianity is wrong.
And listen to me. None of them are wrong. That's what you don't understand. You're arguing about something that I never mentioned once. I never
Uh,
once told you that I only have one truth. I said there's many truths.
But you don't think there's a difference between a Christian belief and Aztecs, for example?
Listen, there's going to be traditional differences. There's going to be cultural differences, but in the end, okay, it's all going to lead to that God is good, okay, and and
And
and he and
and
he
that there is
instills,
no
leads,
hell.
and secures all states of affairs,
You're
okay.
And that
making
there is
some
no hell.
extremely
Yeah, I find
extremely
it
That's
deep
where
claims
the
here.
con is.
Where's
Con
this
is all
God is
good.
good business come from? How do you possibly know
That's
that?
where the con is.
How do you? Firstly, you haven't proved that God exists, and then you claim that God is good. This is
Well,
you're running
I
away
told you how
with
it
the
exists
bathwater
to
here.
me, right?
No, he told
And
us that
I
we
give you
denied God's existence.
God's
you,
impossible.
you
God is impossible. So if something is
that is fine.
impossible, if God is impossible, God doesn't exist. So you've got to get us through that.
There's I don't know where that reasoning comes from.
God,
That
well,
that
God
that's
is
my
God is impossible.
spiritual
We can.
understanding of the
Would you
world.
like us to let's follow that reasoning then? That God is
Okay,
impossible.
okay.
Okay. Anybody like to
Let's
step in?
follow that. Yeah. When there was a
Hold on. No,
horse
no,
and
no, no.
buggy,
Not you. Not
there was
you.
a horse and buggy,
Not
right?
you. I'm asking
And
for
someone said, "I
somebody.
wish
I'm
I could
asking.
have a huge
It's not your
trailer."
time anymore. It's
Uh,
Barthologist. It's not your time anymore.
okay, so I can say why God is impossible because his
Yes.
description,
Yes.
no matter which religion you would choose, they are conditionary, right? So they are not possible. Something cannot be not be, right? So if something is all good, he cannot do bad stuff. If he is all knowing, then he is not all powerful. And this is the description of the God you believe, Bart.
I could
That's
say
why he is
Yeah.
impossible.
you're 100% wrong because I don't believe that God is, omniscient or
Mm.
omnipresent. I can't conceptualize what omnipresence is.
And now you're
If
Okay,
two.
you're
okay,
adding qualities to a
okay.
God,
It's my fault.
you're
I will
adding
agree
you're
now. I will
creating
agree now
a
that it's
contradiction.
my fault. I didn't ask you what your God is.
Yes,
That's
because you
my
have this
biggest
argument all
mistake
worked out.
until now.
You want to pigeonhole me into some sort of argument that I
No,
that
no, I don't want to pigeonhole
can't you
you.
guys have
I'm
a back and
saying,
forth?
I'm just saying, this is the worst mistake I made. I judged you before I knew. So could you please tell us in what kind of God do you believe?
God limits his omniscience for the free will of his creation, right? So being all knowing never explains that he knows the future. That's an abstract. That's something that you're getting out of what omniscience is.
Barthologist?
So your
Omniscience
God
is a
can make
word
choices?
that was
But
created
it
by
wasn't my question.
Thomas
It wasn't my
Aquinas.
Barthologist,
question.
Yes, I
Barthologist, we made a statement that God is impossible. Once you answer that successfully to persuade us that God is actually possible, then we can carry on with the rest of it. But right now, I am telling you that God is impossible. All gods are impossible. They're all imaginary, but your God and every other God is impossible. And the reason being that existence is eternal. There's no such thing as a nothingness. And without a nothingness, you don't need God. So your God is impossible.
I don't know where the nothingness came in. I never brought that up. Nothing that I ever said was nothingness. I am telling you that I know God's essence through the scriptures in the Bible.
Hey,
Okay,
Barthologist,
Okay, so now you admitted that you are believing in the Christian God.
no, I
Yeah.
said, I could say the Torah or
Oh, the Torah
Tanakh.
doesn't believe in the Christian God, right?
We don't. No,
Okay, so which you're taking the Torah or you're taking the Injil?
Well,
He
I
said
grew
he
up.
said the
I grew up
scriptures
I,
and he
I
said
grew
the
up.
scriptures and the Bible. The scriptures
I'm a
and the Bible.
general theist because I grew up. I'm culturally Jewish, but I grew up and I went to Catholic school. So because of the area that I live in. So,
So, but the
so
Jews
I
saying
know
that
both.
Christians
I
are
know both
stupid,
very
and
well.
the Christians will say that Jews are stupid. So, which if you take part,
Well,
so
no
on
one
which
wants
side?
to say that Jews are
Because you
stupid.
know it's not the same God,
Hey,
right?
can I
Of
interject real quick?
course,
Hey,
it could be the
Barth,
same God.
Barth, let me ask you something. If I have some Tic Tacs, some candy, right? And there's objectively, let's just say 51 Tic Tacs in there, and I ask you, how many? There's either 50 or 51 Tic Tacs in here, and what do you believe? What do you believe to the truth of how many Tic Tacs? And you say 50, and someone else says 51. Are you both objectively right? Just because of your belief in how many there is in there? Or is there only one objective truth?
In a true dichotomy, there's only one. He knows that.
So here's
And if you want to use a
here's-
Tic Tac analogy, you should use the odd and even thing. It's a lot easier.
so
Yeah,
here's
but we still understand it what he's doing.
yeah. So I mean, basically, what you're saying is that since other people come to their own truths of what God is, it's all true to them. And
yeah,
what
he's
I
already
would,
said that. You're new
what I,
here.
yeah,
He's
what I
already
would say,
said. He said that people have their own truths. He's already
right.
basically said that.
And what I'm just saying, I'm just reiterating that personal truth is not objective truth.
Yeah, no,
for-
well, that's why we don't believe. He thinks we just reject his ideas. So we reject it because they make no sense.
Personal truth is equivalent to a placebo. It's something that makes you feel good.
it's equivalent to the truth that J.K. Rowling is the god of Harry Potter, right? So, and we do that jokingly, but it's true because it fits that. It's just made up. He's even said that he makes it up, and he makes it up based on what he feels in his heart, right? So, which makes no sense either, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because truth is not dependent on what's in, how a particular person feels, whether it's their brain or heart or their ass. It doesn't matter, right? Because Bart did mention that he's an asshole, so at times. That's how he deals with stuff. I know.
Nothing
He
but
did say it. If you've been here long enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
Hey, listen, I have no problem. I'm not once said that you guys are strawmanning me or bullying me. I'm a man. I could deal with
I'm
it.
not bullying
Sitting
you.
here, I have no complaints whatsoever. I have no complaints with all your minds being together and going against
What do you
me. I
mean
have
you're a
no
man? You're a man and you can deal with it.
Going against you.
What do you
I have no problem with that at all.
What do
We're
you
not going
mean?
against you. We
we're
want
just
to
trying to bring you to
know.
your
We
senses.
What do
want to
you mean?
understand.
And what do you mean you're a man and you can deal with it? Women not incapable of
Yeah.
dealing with things?
Bart needs constant self-affirmation, in my view. It seems like you're very insecure sometimes because you keep having to do this.
It's the serve concept.
Telling everyone how much of a man you are and the way you deal. I'm an asshole and that's the way to be and blah, blah, blah. It's like, why, Bart? Why do you do this? I don't get it. It's like you have to do it, It's like Darth has to do the same thing, right? Just, You know, why does he go after atheists? Why doesn't he like go talk to Muslims or at least talk to people within his, you know, or Christians and get them on the same page he is, but then go after atheists, right? But he doesn't even do that.
His cross to bear.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the part that really that I don't get is why not go after the low-hanging fruit first? If you already believe in God, then get them all on the same page, all the God believers. Once they're on the same page, then you can go after the tougher, you know, the atheists or whatever. And that's the part I don't get, right?
Because for him, the argument that something must have existed is easier than the fact in his mind nothing existed. I mean, obviously in cosmology we don't say nothing, you know, caused something.
But the thing is that if someone already believes in God, but there's details that they disagree with, why don't you iron out the details first? And I've talked to a lot of theists about this, and they said, well, the details aren't important. We all believe in God, but the details are important, right? Because if the details, what's that?
No, absolutely they are, but I mean, for them,
right,
I mean,
right,
you know,
right,
they fight a deist argument.
Yeah, but from an atheist perspective, if you don't care about details and you fight about details and you haven't got the details worked out, how can we believe that you actually have truth if you can't iron out details? It's like engineers who build airplanes. Oh yeah, we need an engine and some wings and stuff, and don't give a shit about what kind of metal to use or the electrical system or anything. Oh, those details don't fucking matter, right?
No, I mean, I totally agree, but I'm just saying that's why they argue that is for them.
But why come after atheists? That makes no sense to me. Like, get yourself on the same page. I've asked this of Muslims as well. They get angry though, but you know, why not try to figure it out? Because then it would be more believable if you're all on the same page. But they're not. They even kill each other. They you know.
Why do I?
It's like engineers killing each other because one engineer writes it down. They don't agree with each other, so I kill you because you have to believe me. Right? Like, fuck.
Yeah, you're being ridiculous now.
Yeah.
You should tell all your dead relatives that it's been a good run. You should be honest with them.
What?
You should tell all your dead relatives when they, you know, right when they're gonna go. They're gonna say, "Oh, you live for nothing."
My dead relatives. How can I tell my dead relatives?
Well, I mean, you know, the ones that are dying. You know, your dying relatives. You should just tell them you should have bought the car when you wanted to because you should have been a selfish prick and done more things for yourself throughout your life. You're an idiot. You should tell people on their death.
Dying.
Whose point of view are you speaking
I'm
from,
dying,
Barthologist?
Everyone is dying. Everyone's dying.
Hold on a second. Barthologist, whose point of view are you speaking from when you speak this way? How we should tell dying people that they've wasted their lives?
Atheistic, the atheistic.
Is it the atheistic way to tell dying people that they've wasted their lives and should have done what they wanted to do? It's atheistic, is it? I see.
Ask me. I'm 66. Do you think I feel like I've wasted my life or something? Or?
Well, 66 is not old.
Well, yes.
So wait,
I work with men in construction that's slaying a shovel.
Boris, you have to wait until they're on their deathbed before you drop this clanger on their
that's
head.
what the Pope said. You're right. The Pope said that even atheists can go to heaven, but you know, that was what was tweeted, and a bunch of atheists.
No. In fact, every atheist will go to heaven, and every theist will go to hell.
What's even more sad, though, is this fine gentleman.
The second line, though.
This fine gentleman somehow thinks he has to be moral only if there's a God and he's going to heaven, and that's pretty sad, in my opinion.
Well, you know what's interesting is that
I never once mentioned heaven or hell. You guys.
I'd like to be given the choice, and I choose not to go to heaven. So I'm not, you know, vying for. I'm not part of the race to get them to heaven. So I don't see what all the fuss is about. So stop it.
No, but Bart, you basically said that you just should tell old people who are dying that they wasted their life and their life has no purpose. And that they should have just been selfish. I think that's what else you said, and they should have just done other crap that they wouldn't normally do. That's basically.
Why not be honest with them? Why not? Why
Let's
not
let's
do that
talk
right
about
now in your
selfishness,
lives?
though.
Why not just do
That
like that in your lives right now?
because
Bart,
I don't need a God. I don't need
I
a
want to
God
talk
to.
about the selfish thing. This is
He's a
important.
selfish person.
I
He doesn't
am
wanna be
selfish. Hang on. I am selfish. But the thing is, I do things that make me happy. And sometimes just helping someone else makes me really happy. So is that a good selfish or a bad selfish?
It's a selfish.
Right. It's still selfish, isn't it?
Yep.
Right?
It's not selfish.
So I am selfish. I totally admit that. Right. But doing certain things that might harm someone and it makes me feel bad, I don't do those things. So my selfish is based
Why
on
feel
what
bad?
makes me feel good, all right?
Why
And
feel
but
bad?
the thing is, what makes me feel good tends to make other people feel good too.
And do
Oh,
you
that's
feel bad in
bizarre.
your
And you
in your
know
mind?
something? You know something, Bart? I
Does it
don't
feel
need the
bad in
Bible
your
to
mind
tell
or
me
in your
these
heart?
things. I don't need the Bible to tell me these things.
Well, I'm just saying, does it feel bad in your mind or in your heart?
My
Who
heart
you are
pumps
as a
blood. It
person,
feels bad in my mind
it
if
feels
I do
bad in your
bad
mind.
things.
Well, you could just come
Right.
up with another reason to feel good. You could lie to yourself. Men do
I
this.
don't
Men
lie
do
to
this all
myself,
the time.
though. That would be
Why should
stupid.
he lie to himself?
People do this because people do this all the time. They lie
If
to
you lie to himself, would he understand a lie? Would you believe in a lie? What you are talking about?
After a while,
Think
he'll
about
just
what you
start
are
to believe
saying.
the lie. Yeah. After a while, he'll just
No,
start to believe
that's
the
like
lie.
Christians what they're doing. Make it until you do it. Like
Fake it. until
fake
you
it.
make
Yeah, fake it. That's what the Christians are doing.
Is that the talking thing? Just keep faking it until you do it right or something? Isn't that the
Until you
talking
believe
in
it.
tongues or whatever?
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Jesus loves
Blah
you.
blah blah. Yeah. So Bart, there's a couple of verses I think at the end of Mark.
Freedoms.
I think it is. Well, hang on. You're not a Christian, so you don't care about the New Testament. But we get you. You referenced Jesus earlier in the conversation, which I thought was kind of bizarre.
He's lying to
Right.
us. He's making
I know.
takia, if you know what I mean.
Takia. Yeah, that's the Muslim lying. Takia. That's funny. But the thing is, the part I don't like what you say to us, Bart, is where you say, I'm telling you the truth and you're rejecting it, right? You're the only one that knows truth, right? And we're all rejecting your truth. Why aren't
That's
you
not what I
arguing?
said.
Why aren't you
I
arguing
said
with
my
others
truth. I said
first?
the truth has already been told to you and you rejected it.
No, it
In
hasn't
fact, we
actually.
are searching. In fact, we
Yeah.
are asking you a question to understand. And every
Right.
time we ask you, you are telling us that we are diversing, gives you funny arguments and stuff. You don't understand maybe the questions, but in fact, we are trying to understand your position. Really, really, because we are interested in truth. But you're not giving us any substantial argument.
Well,
for
actually,
your
it's not. He's
belief.
giving us stuff, but it's really confusing and it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense, right? He's giving
Yeah.
me things, but I can't.
No, until now, he
it's like
said
giving.
because indoctrination. This was the only.
Well, that's what he
thing what
believed, though.
said.
That's a different thing. But he's saying that we've been shown the truth, and but we just reject it. Right? It's like what?
Yeah. No,
Right?
we don't.
But it makes no
We wanna
sense,
know.
right?
We
Yeah,
wanna
that's
know.
his
We wanna
claim, and
know.
and that doesn't make sense. He never backs it up.
Well,
Because
it's not.
if he was to say, hold on, if he was to say, I brought you the evidence and you rejected it, and what I brought you was this, and then he'd repeat it, so we could figure out what it is that we rejected, and we could maybe have another shot at giving it another think, and either accept it or reject it again. But he never brings it up again. He always just says, I brought you evidence, and this is I brought you evidence and you rejected it, instead of saying, I brought you this evidence, XYZ, this fact, that fact, the other fact, and you rejected it. Then we can have
What's funny
then
there,
we can have a
Winston, though.
discussion. We can have a
Sure,
discussion.
but what's funny, Winston, is that every theist will say that, right?
know,
But
I know.
it's their truth, it's their opinion, and they say, "See, I'm bringing you evidence, but their evidence isn't the same as Bart's evidence, if you consider it evidence, right? Whatever they think it is."
That's why they
But
don't
it's
say
so
specifically.
different. Even if you grant them that this is evidence, why is your evidence different than another theist's evidence? Why is it so different? It's confusing, and I think that's really the heart of it all. We don't even need to go down any kind of a logic or philosophical road or anything. It's why is it always different? Right? And Bart even admitted it. Every person has to have their own. But that's not how
Yeah.
truth is determined. That's insane. Right?
Yeah,
It's
but
to determine how you feel, right?
I find it interesting to ask them, what about the people who weren't shown the truth? You know, like the billions of
Some
people
desert
who,
island somewhere, or people
yeah,
that
yeah,
weren't indoctrinated, Chinese or
right,
something in the middle
right,
of
right. I mean,
Himalayas or whatever.
you have 8 billion people on the earth and 2 billion Christians, so we're to assume that at least 6 billion of them haven't. Well, I mean, maybe they were told, but out of those, a great majority probably weren't told about their version of the truth. And then, not to mention all the people who lived before the Torah in his version of religion. So I mean, every Sumerian, every Egyptian, every Babylonian. I mean, basically
Egyptians, sure.
everybody.
Didn't God harden his heart? So he already knew about God, right?
So and they're not consistent, to be honest. They're not consistent as to whether they'll either give you well, God will judge them then on their deeds, right? Like what their morality was, basically, without ever knowing the truth. And then you'll have other Christians which say no, they're all going. They all went to hell, Yeah.
So, when I was younger, I didn't really believe, and then I sort of didn't hang around people. They sort of went away. But I had friends that went to church, and they said, "How come you don't come to church with us?" And there'll be two of them, and they go, "Well, I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. Jesus, God, I don't know. It's just I don't understand this." So they're trying to explain it, but they end up fighting amongst each other because one will say, "No, that's not. Don't tell them that." It's like, okay, So I basically ended up not having people that were into church that much that they actually tried to get you to go to it. And I didn't pay attention anymore until 9/11. And then I started paying attention again. Because I was
you're a lucky soul. I didn't figure out I was brainwashed until I was about 35.
Yeah, well,
it took me another 5 years, I think, to even start calling myself an agnostic, and then maybe another couple years to finally say, I just don't believe in that crap anymore.
That's right. That's why Canadian Catholic who claims that he was an atheist for a year is bullshit, because it takes way more than a year to get out of it and get and then now he's a Catholic. He was some kind of fundamentalist, something else. His family is. He claimed to be an atheist, and now he's a Catholic. But he's only a Catholic because he was still believed in some kind of a God idea or whatever. But he only went to Catholicism because the bullshit that his family believed was like young Earth creationists. Catholics, hang on, Catholics believing in evolution and things, right? So that's why he went. He went to find something that fit him better, right? So
Yep. And that's a bizarre one to go to. I mean, actually, in modern times, you see a lot of Catholics leaving for like more, I don't want to say Pentecostal, but like those Foursquare type churches where there's music and stuff, because they've grown up in a Catholic environment where every service is like you get the yearly calendar of what's going on with the Catholic services, and it's exactly the same every single year. It's pretty boring. And when you go into like a new modern church, that's usually where you see almost like Catholics coming out of Catholicism and converting into other forms of Christianity. It's super sketchy, weird to say you were an atheist for a year and then decided Catholicism was the one to go back to. You really believe that when you put a wafer in your mouth, it turns into God's flesh? Come on, man.
Well, at least if you do a wafer and it's Jesus's flesh. Well, I guess that's God.
Oh yeah,
too.
sorry.
Jesus's flesh, but at least you can be guaranteed that you're not getting a piece of foreskin that it transforms to, right? Might be other weird part, but yeah, that's a Matt Dillahunty thing. So.
You can fix all this in just if you just drop the Bible at 9. It just
fixes what?
Everything. If you drop the Bible at 9, it fixes everything.
Yeah, I bet.
But I learned just the other day that it actually says not to cut bits off your body, right? In the Bible someplace. You're going to go to hell if you do that, right? So if circumcision came later, right? So
yep.
You know, so if it says in the Bible, don't cut bits off your body, and all those circumcised guys out there, you're going all to hell, all right? It's
Yeah,
too late.
yeah.
You know, because you
Well,
can't really put
I
it
didn't
back,
cut it
right?
off. I didn't cut it off. I had no choice. My
Yeah,
mom
no,
made some doctor do it.
that's no excuse.
Maybe
man.
she's the one
You're still
going to
going
hell.
to hell.
You don't want to cough cut off later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because God breathed His soul into you the instant of conception. So why didn't you do something about it? They tried to
Yeah.
drown me. When I was a baby. In a Catholic
yeah.
basin somewhere, they
Yep,
tried to drown
yep,
me.
yep. Yep.
Just to appease my mom's
So-
Catholic side, right?
Yeah, so you can get the Holy Spirit.
Have you ever wondered what the exact one problem was with baptism?
Oh, I'm getting the fuck out of here now. All right, guys, good talk. I'm not talking with this guy in the room.
Okay, Bart. Oh, right. It's God.
Okay. No worries.
It's
Thank
the two
you.
people that just despise each other.
I wasn't saying anything. I didn't
No,
say
you
a
did.
word.
He heard your
fuck,
voice.
that's funny.
He heard your voice.
Not
Yeah.
to Bart. I wasn't talking.
But he
That's
heard your
hilarious.
voice. All right.
No, heard my voice. Big fucking deal.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh
Hey,
man,
you know what the funnest thing is?
what's that?
Is that there is one interesting friend I've got out here on Discord. His name, the guy with the gorilla. Johnny.
Not
No.
familiar, no.
Johnny, he's on the politics server as well. He's got the.
Oh, I'm banned from there, I think.
Well, he made me an admin on his server, and he made Barth an admin on the server as well,
Okay.
so that neither one of us had power over the other.
Yeah. Well, that's the same here. So what's the difference? You don't have
I
moderators
know. That's
either
what I
of you.
get. I don't get. Like, he's not like he could say I could do something to him.
Yeah, well, you know what
Something
that is? It's obviously it's fear. Did you once absolutely annihilate him in a debate or something?
Oh yeah, I did that twice. Yeah, that was
Oh,
fun.
there you go. I think that's pretty much why he's bolting.
Doesn't want me to get stubborn again.
No, listen. He hasn't addressed the God is impossible statement that I put to him. He totally sidestepped it.
How do you know? I thought for sure God was completely. Wait a
No,
minute.
I
You're
put
get
it to
You get
him.
No, you get the way I was saying that.
I
Wait a minute.
put it to him.
Yeah,
I
it
gave
is
him
illogical, isn't it?
I gave him
dumb.
some backup, and he just totally ignored me. And then he went to his Bible and says, "Have you read John or Jane or whatever?"
Have you read the great Flurfian novel known as the Bible?
Oh,
He got very upset when I compared the fictional work of Harry Potter to the fictional work of the Bible.
Oh, speaking of that, I sat down and literally started comparing the Jesus story to Harry Potter's run.
Oh, yeah.
Do it. Like, really compare the true details of the Jesus story throughout the 7 books to Jesus in the Bible.
Well, you know something? I consider myself an absolute
It's
know
a
nothing.
perfect fucking parallel.
Yeah. Well, I know nothing
Right
about
down to
either.
the sacrifice where, God
Hold on a second.
says
Hold on a
the
second.
son had to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
Harry Potter's the sacrifice.
Okay.
The whole
No, I
fucking thing.
don't. I don't. This is why 420, because I don't know either of them. So why don't you? Because I got a fresh take on this. I'm not biased. I don't know either of them. So I'll listen to your argument and try and give a totally unbiased response.
It'd be a lot more difficult to do if you don't understand it at all. So
Yeah, I don't. Well,
I need
again,
somebody that has knowledge too. That
I've
can
never read
understand
Harry
it.
Potter. I don't know him. I don't know his
Yeah.
deal, and I've never read the Jesus Christ series, or whoever wrote that one, and I'm not really familiar.
That's the Bible.
Yeah, well, whoever. Yeah, but we don't even know who wrote that. So it's
I know we
it's
don't.
ridiculous. It's actually
Supposedly
fucking
this guy
ridiculous.
wrote this at some point in the past, you know.
We know J.K. Rowling wrote the Bible. I mean the Harry Potter. The Harry Potter Freudian slip. Harry Potter. We know that Joseph Smith dictated or wrote the Mormon Bible. Okay, these are things we can know. How can you know anything about your Jesus?
I'm an atheist, by the way.
Why are you an atheist? Because
Because I've seen no reason to believe in a God that I've seen no evidence to believe in the God. There's no evidence been presented to me that I can see that actually means anything.
No, you're just rejecting the evidence. The evidence is all around you. You're
that's
just
right. I've presented you the evidence so many times.
Hey,
I have
Boris,
presented you seven forms of evidence, and you've rejected them all.
Deer's flat.
I mean, obviously, you have not focused in on the fundamental. There's a singular fundamental thing that started all of the universe, and
the
ultimate fundamental.
Everything.
In the beginning, God created dinosaurs, and then he created a big rock, smashed the rock into the dinosaurs, and killed them all. Then God created a flood, buried the dinosaurs. And then he created another meteorite to blow that up, and then he created a volcano to flood that all over. And then he moved the continents a little bit over a few million years, a few billion years.
You know why I used a big rock? Because the Earth's a big flat plate. Used a rock.
This is one angry God.
Yeah, and the big rock hit the edge of the plate and flinged all the dinosaurs into space, right?
Yeah.
Just flinged them all into space, right? That's how he did it with the big rock. Oh, well, the dinosaurs at the other edge of the plate, the flat Earth. So if I smash a rock right here, the other end of the plate will flip up and shoot them off all into space.
Very nice.
That's pretty clever. See, God knows the laws of physics. But flat earthers will say that there's this dome over us, right? It's like a
well, they can say what they
like.
like.
It's like a snow globe in the bottom of a swimming pool.
Prove that God is possible, at least, instead of giving.
I mean, you think that would be like the easiest evidence to uncover, right? You just need to shine a really bright light to the sky, and it's just going to show. It's going to bend with the
there's
dome.
evidence. Rockets. You ever notice rockets when they go up, when the space shuttle?
Yeah, they hit the dome.
No, they don't. They don't. No, what you notice, if you pay really close attention, you notice the rocket curving away, and it's not going straight up anymore because they don't want to hit the dome. They make it go off in the distance so they can make it crash out of people's sight, right?
Oh, okay.
Goes over the horizon, you can see a splash.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe NASA's a fraud, but what about all those private companies that just sent 4 private citizens up to the ISS? I mean, they're just paid actors, right?
No, they paid very rich people who were able to afford a ticket.
No, they aren't. They are rich people who want to up their social media game, so they're participating in a studio enactment of the ISS because the ISS does not exist.
Well, it's there. It's just that there's nobody on it because you can see it with your own eyes. You don't. You can use a good pair of binoculars or even a good telescope if you can afford one.
Dude, that's fully a balloon. That's fully a helium. That's a helium balloon.
Okay, how does a helium balloon travel at 17,000 miles an hour and not burn up? That's bizarre.
I mean, you say it's 17,000 miles an hour, and when I look up, it looks like it's just cruising.
Yeah, but
an airplane.
I know it's 17,000.
And my telescope says it's 17,000
No,
miles.
I don't even need a telescope.
By the tracking on the motors.
No. The easiest way is you just get a radio receiver that reads frequency, and you can measure the Doppler shift because the ISS puts out a beacon, right? And from the Doppler shift, you can actually calculate how fast that thing's really going.
I mean, according to you, I've got internet sites with flat Earth people telling me real science.
Hey,
so
by the way, if you have a powerful enough sensing system, you can actually use the light reflected off it to tell how fast it's going. because there
Oh,
will be a
really?
redshift. Yes,
I
really.
don't know about that. I don't know about all of that. I mean, it's moving horizontal to the plane of the horizon, and it just
You
looks
can
the
still get a,
ISS.
you can still get a Doppler effect off it.
Okay. Well, first I have to look up what Doppler means to even see if that's not just left-wing, conspiracy theory hoaxism.
And another thing,
What Mr.
I can
Doppler did,
actually.
this is how it was
Hey,
invented. It's really easy.
yeah.
Mr. Doppler.
Oh, by the way,
this is
another
way
beautiful
back when.
thing, I can
Yeah,
actually focus a transmitter
Oh, we
on
don't care.
that. I can
We don't
actually
care. We
focus
want
a
to explain
transmitter on the
Doppler.
ISS, and like he
Doppler.
said, watch the frequency change over
No.
time.
So Mr.
You get
Doppler thought that sound waves would change if whatever's producing the sound is moving. So he got a bunch of trumpeters to play the same note on the back of a train, a flatbed train, and played the same note, and they drove by
And as
on
it
the
comes
train.
to you, I totally know. Yeah.
It sounded, So that's what, that's the Doppler shit.
I absolutely know what it is.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm just playing the protagonist.
You
Oh
troll.
yeah,
Thank you.
of course you are. You believe for sure. You truly believe. You're not playing. You're trying. You actually believe. I know you do.
I know.
Now we got to explain to you the 15 degree per hour drift.
Damn! Don't do that. I
Oh,
mean,
you're gonna
I know
start
some.
at the very beginning of science.
I know some
jeez.
flat Earth video. They also debunk themselves, but come on, don't force me into believing that stuff.
Are you?
Forget about. I mean, what are you gonna say next? That
Are you susceptible to be
I could
forced
actually
into
make my
believing
own Foucault pendulum and prove that the Earth isn't spinning myself? Don't tell me that. That's just a bunch of gibberish.
It's great doing it in a silo. You know that, and you know why? You know why it's really cool doing it in a concrete silo?
Why?
They don't come with windows. So once you get everything set up, and it's calm in there, you know what I mean? And then you light the electric match to cut the string. That's how I cut the string, with an electric match.
Always.
What?
Yeah, I
Easy.
mean, I
You wrap
can't.
a piece of thin wire around the string, and you hook that thin wire to the end of a decently heavy wire, and then at the other end of the long heavy wire, you touch it to a car battery.
Yeah. I mean, no, don't expect any reasonable flat Earth convention to charge $5 to people like me who are going there, obviously, to watch this great science, and build their own Foucault pendulum, like right in that convention center, and prove to everybody that the Earth isn't spinning. I suggested that one time, and they all thought it was a good idea, but for whatever reason.
Do you live in a dorm with at least 3 levels?
No.
I'm gonna say go and do the experiment in the stairwell, the emergency stairwell.
That's something I don't know. How tall does a Foucault pendulum have to be to actually work?
Well, people have done them with just a short one. Like
I thought it had.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty long.
Well,
yeah.
Well, that one, I think if it's in that dome, I think it's at least 30 feet or something.
That one was, it was 3 levels.
Oh, okay.
But I think you can do it with like 10 feet. It's going to be a lot less precise, but it will show.
I mean, what's amazing to me is no flat earther has ever actually bought a camera and just put it on a slow aperture.
Well, you know why? You know why?
I mean,
you know why?
What the hell?
You know why? You know why? Because cameras have lenses, and they'll put an artificial curve on it because they don't know about pinhole cameras that don't have a lens.
Yeah, but I could just go to the opposite side of the hemisphere and then prove that the stars are going the other way, and that can't be too hard. You know what? And here's one thing. It's obvious these guys have never traveled internationally because I have a fiance and a